seed in the final week of the regular season. Canisius at 5-3 travels to St. Francis 7-1 for the Monsignor Martin Game of the Year. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you for BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday Special, presented by Villa Maria College. College isn't about having it all figured out. It's about inventing who you're going to become. Villa Maria College. Friday Night Lights supported by our members and by Rigidized Metals Corporation. From the Buffalo Bills locker room to complete building exteriors, Rigidized Metals products are a marriage of beauty and utility. And by DeUville University. Do you want to be unstoppable? And by Mr. Goodbar, your home for watching sports on Elmwood Avenue. And by Brighton Liquor and Wine at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. And by Monsignor Martin Athletics. Jim Monos, hello. Long time no see, friend.
Long time. Is the game over yet from last night? Is it everything's good? We're thawed out. We're thawed out. We are back in our real clothes.
Yes, it feels good to be Jack and Jim again and not Fred Rogers and Bob Ross like we were last night.
We could always be James and John.
True. You could go legal names tonight.
That might be if you know type thing. Two inside.
We'll keep it for Jack and Jim. For those joining us for the first time, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Usually on Friday nights, it's Section 6 action, as we just had a playoff battle last night. Williamsville South defeating Olean 42-20 in the Class B quarterfinal. This is the pregame show for tonight's Saturday special, however, brought to you by Brighton Liquor and Wine at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. We'll have a recap of all the scores from around Western New York this weekend throughout this pregame show. Kickoff at 7:35 this evening. So sit back, relax, or drive safe and keep us with you all evening long. We've got the best game with 9 Division I talent products across the field on either side for Canisius and St. Francis this evening. Even some gamesmanship already between these two longtime rivals, with St. Francis warming up, doing jumping jacks right on their logo at the 50-yard line, facing the Canisius team warming up on the other side of the field. What does that say to you, Jim?
My eyes are opened. I like Canisius' response. 0 response. What are you guys doing? This is warm-ups a half hour before the game. You want to go use your energy, wasting around, jumping, hooting, hollering? Does nothing.
This is a big-time game for St. Francis after losing last year to Canisius quite handily. The Crusaders took care of business a year ago, led by their star, Elijah Kimball. He has a boatload of talent and a whole lot of teams looking for him at the next level, including 8 of the current top 25 teams in the country. That includes number 1 ranked Ohio State. High interest in Elijah Kimball. I know you've just seen him a little bit so far, Jim. What stands out right away?
Well, we've seen him enough to know it's everything you want as a back. It's size, it's speed, it's make you miss, instincts. He has the whole package. We know that, obviously. He's going to Ohio State, so let's not get carried away. They've done the work for us by identifying his talent. What I'm really curious is whenever there's a great back, there's some guys up front doing some good things. And they have size that I don't think we've seen yet of any teams we've watched this year. This size has my interest.
Certainly not within Section 6. Is there an offensive line as big or as powerful as you'll see in the Monsignor Martin? Frankly, for both these teams tonight, size on both sides of the line. Just talking Canisius, you've got 6'6" and 6'7" at your 2 tackles. That's
how you draw it up. That's how you draw it up when you're doing your fantasy football, making your Madden players. That's how they look.
So with so many Division I products here tonight, Jim, as a scout, going back to your days working for the New Orleans Saints and even beforehand, when you're watching high schoolers specifically, and I know you weren't a college scout per se, but watching high schoolers in a game of this magnitude, what do you look for from your guys that are on your radar as a big-time college?
It's number one, when you have this many prospects and you're coming to a game as one scout. I've gone to games where I've looked, there's 20 players I'm looking at. Florida State versus Florida. There might be 20 players in that game I'm looking at. But that game specifically isn't what you're doing to identify their talent. You're trying to see how they handle themselves on the sideline, how they handle themselves with officials, coaching staff. Everything about their character shows up when you go see them play that you can't see on film to get their talent. So that's why as a scout we like to attend games to really find out about these players. And let's see how tough they really are. Sometimes you can see that on the sidelines and after bad plays too.
I wonder, have you ever been to a college game, scouting for the pros, and left thinking he's off my list even though he's incredibly talented?
Oh, I can think of a couple players that I just shook my head and saying these are going to be some conversations we're going to have to convince the coach on this one when he hears about this guy, because I know they have talent. Now, how do I tell the coach he is going to buy in? He is the type of player we want in our locker room. And when Ohio State looks at a player like Kimball, they're doing that research. They're only bringing in certain guys that are going to help them win titles. So if you don't have the right character to win a title, they don't care about your talent. There's always somebody out there.
Elijah Kimball has shown a maturity, that of a senior throughout his high school career, now a junior and a 3-year starter at running back for Canisius. On the flip side for St. Francis, they've got 3 juniors that we'll talk about throughout the course of this pregame and this evening. The Red Raiders are led by a junior quarterback in Trent Buttles, who is also a 3-year varsity starter, transferred to St. Francis this year. He shows incredible poise as the gunslinger and starting safety for the Red Raiders, getting, again, 4 Division I offers at quarterback and safety.
Yeah, for Division I, I thought I'd see maybe a bigger quarterback, but I guess, at this point, if you can be a system-dominant quarterback, size doesn't matter anymore, especially if you look in the NFL. We have guys, I say we because I'm just used to, but guys have come down height-wise. You don't have to be that traditional big Division I. When you think of pocket passers, the game has changed. So if you can maneuver, deliver the ball with accuracy, make plays with your legs, you can play in any system.
This should be a really fun one tonight between Trent Buttles and St. Francis and Elijah Kimball and the Canisius Crusaders. We will step aside for a quick moment and return on the Brighton Liquor and Wine pregame show. Brighton Liquor and Wine at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. We'll do a full preview on Canisius and the Crusaders, as well as some scores from around Western New York this weekend in Section 6. This Monsignor Martin Saturday Special continues after this.
Visit Villa Maria College and discover what it means to be a Viking.
Okay.
Come see the energy,
If you need to turn this up,
that
you
makes
go ahead.
the Villa Vikings
When
unstoppable.
multiple
Tell
people
me
start
when you're
talking.
ready.
Schedule your
Yeah.
tour
Yeah,
at
let me know when you're good.
Canisius offense,
villa.edu.
just put stretch it.
BTPM's Friday Night Lights, in partnership with Section 6, is presented by Villa Maria College, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York. Friday Night Lights is supported by our members and by the WNED Foundation Incorporated. Mr. Goodbar, your headquarters for watching away games on Elmwood Avenue. Denny's, America's Diner is always open. Brighton Liquor and Wine, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. And by SEI. SEI proudly supports the WNED Foundation.
These days, it seems like there are people who think the voting process is absolutely lawless. Like, you just show up and toss your pin on any old ballot. But I'm here to set that straight, because I'm Corey, and this is Compact Civics. First, you have to register. It's a pretty rigid process, but it's not hard to do. In New York State, you can do it at any DMV, by mail, or online. To be eligible to vote in all U.S. elections, you must be a U.S. citizen, meet your state's residency requirements, and be at least 18 years old by Election Day. For the record, non-citizens and permanent legal residents cannot vote. To ensure you can vote, confirm your eligibility, register by your state's deadline, and understand any rule that may affect your voting rights. Voting is the easiest way to participate in democracy and influence governance. But remember, it comes with strict legal guidelines.
Support for Friday Night Lights comes from our members and from SEI. SEI proudly supports the WNED Foundation, connecting communities through the Friday Night Lights tradition. More information at SEIC.com.
Welcome back to St. Francis High School on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday Special, presented by Villa Maria College. College isn't about having it all figured out. It's about inventing who you're going to become. This is the pregame show brought to you by Brighton Liquor and Wine at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. Jack Kreuzer, Jim Monos with you. Jim, last night we saw a great Section 6 quarterfinal game. Williamsville South wins their first playoff game since 2021. They defeat Olean 42-20. We were curious to see how the Billies would attack, given their top wide receiver, Evan Zankel, and his dominance all season. Zankel all but shut down in that game, and it was Amir Caesar who stole the spotlight.
No, I think that's we walked away both looking at each other last night saying, okay, when you miss games for injury. And you look at stats and you look at end of the season awards. Caesar doesn't have those stats that jump out at you, and then you say you missed it. That game last night, that's a wrap. That guy is a difference maker. I can't wait to see as they move forward how important he is, because that's going to be that offense. The fact they don't turn the ball over, have him as a weapon. Williamsville South put themselves on the map last night.
In Class B, that same division, we've got some results from around Western New York. The Billies will take on Lackawanna, who overcame a 13-7 hole, scored late in the fourth quarter, won it 14-13 to knock off Pioneer. So the Billies match up with a stout defensive Lackawanna team who you saw earlier this season. That's an interesting game in Class B to go to the stadium.
They're going to need to be stout. You're right, because now that I've seen kind of both teams, I think I know where I'm thinking Williamsville South can attack them. I don't know if they can keep up with them scoring-wise. That's going to be obviously the question.
So you would favor Williamsville South in that matchup?
Jack, it's too early. We got to get through the games first. Let's get through the weekend before we set spreads.
That's all right. No pick from Jim Monos tonight. On the other side of that bracket, though, it will be Iroquois awaiting the winner of West Seneca East and Depew. That game going on currently, just kicked off after 7 o'clock. Everyone in Class B is watching that game right now, seeing what's going to happen between the number 2 seed in Class B1 and the 3 seed in B2. How about in Class A? There was a big upset last night as Grand Island defeats Williamsville North 28-7. Grand Island, the 4 seed from A2, they knock off the number 1 seed Williamsville North in the quarterfinal. In fact, Jim, in Class A, the 4 semifinalists in Class A are all 4 teams from the A2 bracket.
So what jumps out to you when you see a result like that, knowing what you know about Williamsville North? Is that a complete shocker to you?
I'd say it was expected to be a close game given their style of play, both ground and pound, double wing tee type of offenses, and we saw Grand Island during the preseason. They've got some dudes.
And you just led me. That was a perfect setup, because I was thinking about how I was hoping we could see them, and they looked like they had good, when we saw them at practice. That was summer camp. It seems like it was 2 years ago, but we liked the way they practiced that day, and we saw talent on that field.
So they move on, and they'll take on McKinley, who won their matchup earlier this weekend. On the flip side of the bracket, Health Sciences will take on Williamsville East, who just earlier today defeated West Seneca West in the Class A bracket. So there you have it, 1 through 4 in Class A2, all advance to the semifinal in Section 6. This is the Brighton Liquor and Wine pregame show, 9:30 Brighton Road in Tonawanda for Friday Night Lights Saturday special. Canisius and St. Francis in just about 15 minutes. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you. In Class AA, we knew that Lancaster defeated Niagara Falls on a really close play to end the game. It was 20-14 the final. Niagara Falls had a look at the end zone on the final play. Catch was made just out of bounds. They rule him out. No flag on the play, and Lancaster moves on, but by the skin of their teeth. Now their reward, the Bennett Tigers next week at All High Stadium.
That's why you're in it, though. You want that. You want to play the best. You have to beat the best to win it anyway, so why not do it? That game was outstanding. Good lesson learned. Don't leave before it's over.
Yeah, we were headed to our cars after Lancaster had an interception with around 3 minutes to go in the game. Up at that point, it was 20-6. We thought the game was over. I'm sitting in my car, and you hear the PA announcer, and all of a sudden, Lancaster punts. Niagara Falls drives down and scores. Lancaster punts again, and I had to get back out of the car to watch the end of the game. Really glad I stuck around. You were already on the roads, though.
Oh, yeah, temperature was right in the car.
I'm sure it was for you. Across Section 6, we continue to look at the playoff brackets updated for Saturday night football on Friday Night Lights Saturday special. This pregame show brought to you by Brighton Liquor and Wine, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. The Class AA bracket on the other side is set. Jamestown will travel to Orchard Park, the 3 against the 2 seed next week. We had both those teams earlier this season, Jim. We will see one more in the sectional final in Class AA on the 14th of November when we're on BTPM PBS that night. Who do you expect to come out of that game, and why?
We can't make predictions. Yeah.
You don't want to pick it all?
No, we don't do predictions until we get to the week. That's too far out. Look, we got Bills Chiefs tomorrow. We got a big game tonight here. Let's just concentrate. Let's take this
Can I get
a
pick
now.
for Bills Chiefs?
Chiefs will win that game.
Whoa.
I hate to tell you. I don't see enough on the Bills' defense right now to make me feel good about it.
That's a gut punch.
If I saw a little more defense from the Bills, I'd feel good. Josh is going to come around eventually, but that defense scares me.
Goodness gracious. Well, I guess we'll all be able to turn off the TV when things go wayward on Sunday, if they do. I've got a little bit of faith, though. Anyway, Orchard Park, different game will happen next week when they host Jamestown in the AA semifinal. Quickly, in Class C, the semifinalists are set. Barker Royhart will take on Chautauqua Lake Westfield Brockton, and Southwestern Frewsburg will host Eden North Collins. We've had two of those teams, Southwestern Frewsburg and Eden North Collins. That'll be a fun matchup between the high-octane offense at Eden, Brady Waring and company, the Nellis brothers up against Southwestern Frewsburg, the Markham brothers on the other side, their dominant offense and defensive line, and Trent Lewis, the quarterback, who has turned plenty of heads so far this year.
That's up and down. That game's going to be wild.
Should be a fun one in Class C. Chalk in the C bracket. In Class D, all chalk except one game in the quarterfinal. Silver Creek Forestville upsets number 4 seed Randolph to take on Newfane. That's your prize for upsetting in round 1. Now you got to take on Matt Capon and Newfane in round 2.
The well-rested Matt Capon.
Yeah, barely played in their quarterfinal win over Allegheny Limestone 2 nights ago. Wilson will host Gowanda Pine Valley on the other side of the D bracket. That's all the Section 6 talk we need for tonight. Let's dive into Canisius for this matchup on the Friday Night Lights Saturday special pregame show brought to you by Brighton Liquor and Wine at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. For Canisius, it starts and ends with number 0. Elijah Kimball needs to have a big game for the Crusaders to win. Is that correct, Jim?
Yeah, when you have a superstar, everybody knows it. He knows it. They know. Everybody knows who's getting the ball, and it doesn't matter. He still is going to get his.
The Crusaders opened the season at home against Scranton Prep in Pennsylvania, a 41-28 win. Did you ever play Scranton Prep in your high school days?
We did not, but let's get, remind me to talk about Crusaders, a running back that was a Crusader, Bishop McDevitt, my high school.
Oh, we'll get to that later on. So they lost 2 games after week 1, though, as they went on the road and lost at Ironton in Ohio, one of the top teams in Ohio, outside of the Cleveland area, 55-21, the loss there in Ironton. Then they went on the road again, back to Ohio in week 3, and lost another Ohio out-of-state matchup, 38-zip. Since then, however, Jim, they've won 4 of their last 5, splitting them 2 wins against St. Joe's and Timon. Then they went again back to Ohio, lost to Steubenville, 35-34. But they're coming in tonight off of 2 wins over Canadian teams, and those Canadian teams have older, larger, faster, stronger kids over the border in Ontario. They just rolled over St. Andrews and Huron Heights 49-20 and 42-21 the last 2 weeks. Canisius is rolling, and I think that momentum plays a factor tonight.
We talk about momentum every week, to your point, and I agree with you. That plays a huge part. And with this offensive line, I think they could roll over anybody with this size they have. That's what I'm really looking forward to watching tonight. And, of course, when you're going to play, you want to play other teams like that. Go out and test yourself against as many good teams as you can. I mean, that's how you find out, and that's competitive. I like that from the staff, the program. Don't shy away.
Head coach and offensive coordinator, class of 1984, Craig Kurzansky, a classmate of my father, John Kreuzer, good friend of his going back in the day at Crusader High. A 4th season as a head coach at Canisius for Coach Kurzansky. He spent decades at Williamsville South coaching there before, where he had some great players like the coach we saw last night, Joe Licata, who's now back at his alma mater back in 2010. Coach Kurzansky coached Joe Licata.
Would he have coached Sam Castronova?
Yeah, absolutely.
A UFL quarterback right now.
Who may as well be the MVP at this point for the Memphis Showboats, or to be named team.
We don't have a team yet or a coach, but we're getting there. But we do have Sam Castronova as our quarterback, so I'm connected to Williamsville South. I need some jerseys or a shirt from. I've signed Joe Licata to a 3-day tryout, and Castronova is our quarterback.
You need a Billy's shirt for sure.
Something.
Jim Monos, for those that aren't aware, general manager of a team in the UFL, was the Memphis Showboats. With some relocation news, they'll find out where they'll be playing this spring coming up soon. But our spotlight players for Canisius tonight, of course, Elijah Kimball is one, but his number 2 running back in Amir Hernandez, equally as impactful, as well as their top wideout, Noah Harrison.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. When you think you have, we talked about this big line, it makes sense. You have 2 backs putting up yards like that, but then you also have 2 wideouts that can go deep. I I mean, this is a complete package of weapons to defend as long as Matteo Brusco is playing his game. This offense is a juggernaut.
Canisius so far this season, 36 points per game. Most of those yards come on the ground, and they rarely turn the ball over. Just 5 turnovers on this season, a key for tonight. We will step aside and return on the Brighton Liquor and Wine pregame show when we will talk about St. Francis and the Red Raiders, what they need to do to snap a streak of losses to Canisius and cement themselves as the top team in the regular season in the Monsignor Martin. This is BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday Special, presented by Villa Maria College.
They told you that your dreams were too big, that becoming a doctor was out of reach. But at Duville University, we build unstoppable professionals. We're about getting you ready to dominate your field. It's time to stop dreaming and start achieving. Do you want to be unstoppable?
Visit Villa Maria College and discover what it means to be a Viking. Come see the energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
A well-crafted will or estate plan speaks volumes about your hopes and dreams for the future. It also ensures that what you've worked a lifetime for is distributed according to your wishes. As Buffalo Toronto Public Media looks to our future, we would be honored to share your legacy and ensure that quality public broadcasting is here for future generations. Please contact me, Lisa Latrovato, at 716-845-7031 for more information.
At PBS, we know that helping students learn is a teacher's top priority. That's why we offer our free, easy-to-use digital platform, PBS Learning Media. With thousands of standards-aligned resources in every subject, plus videos and interactive activities from the trusted programs you know and love. Wildcrats, Nova, Ken Burns, and much more. Find the content you need to enhance lessons and help spark your students' sense of curiosity at PBS Learning Media. Visit pbslearningmedia.org to learn more.
Support for Buffalo Toronto Public Media's Friday Night Lights comes from our members and from your local Denny's. America's Diner is always open. Denny's salutes Section 6 student athletes, serving you with 18 locations throughout the region.
Welcome back to St. Francis High School in Athol Springs, New York. Our Friday Night Lights Saturday special continues on the Brighton Liquor and Wine pregame show. The St. Francis Red Raiders, they lost this game against Canisius last year, 55-34. The final, Elijah Kimball was dominant in that effort, rushing for over 200 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns at Canisius in the regular season. St. Francis was then beat in the semifinal in the postseason by St. Joe's, leading to a St. Joe's Canisius rivalry game in the championship that the Crusaders took home. This has been a long time coming for St. Francis to get back on their winning ways against Canisius, having won 6 of their last 7 against the Crusaders. Talk about their head coach, Jerry Smith, and what it means for him to win 6 straight against Coach Kreuzer and the Crusaders before falling last year.
It's huge. I mean, these guys are, when you look at this team and when you absolutely are thinking about one team all year or a game you want to get back or that game that just rubs you the wrong way, and it's a rival, it tells you so much. And for him to have this experience as a coach, I was caught off guard when I looked at their assistant coaches. Who are the Green Owls?
Well, they're the parents of their starting outside linebacker, Evan.
It just caught my,
Dad
whenever
and
you
uncle
see,
there,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. So, but it always catches, when you see last names on coaching staffs, I always think about my time with the Ryan brothers. I just always think about that, which no one way or the other, just
and
interesting.
Connection as well with their offensive coordinator, Steve Otremba. His son was the quarterback here a while ago as well.
And that says so much about the program and Jerry Smith.
And not to mention Dom Cook Sr., former UB product. He was a St. Joe's product himself. Went on, play at the next level. His son, the starting running back for St. Francis, Dominic Cook Jr. He is a junior at 5'10", 190, explosive out of the backfield. He's looking to prove he's just as good as Elijah Kimball as they met last year in the championship game in the Monsignor Martin.
And they have 2 backs as well. I mean, they have 2 backs that you have to deal with. Obviously, Cook one and Tyrone Clark the other one. But for this game to have 4 backs, 2 obviously we're highlighting for each team, 1 for each team. But, I mean, this is going to be everything you want to see as far as up front, mash, ground and pound, air it out if you have to, because we know we have receivers that can stretch to the field. I just like the complete nature of both teams right now.
Tyrone Clark Jr., our second spotlight player for St. Francis tonight, a transfer from Lackawanna. So right there, your 2 spotlight players in the backfield for St. Francis, both transfers. Jerry Smith in his 37th season as head coach. In order to get win number 200 2 weeks ago, he had to go to the portal over the summer, and boy, has it paid off so far.
And then you get the whole backfield back next year. I mean, the quarterback and both running backs are juniors. Great job by Jerry Smith. Those are the types of transfers I would prefer as a coach, where you get them for 2 years, not the one and done sometimes. That can go hit or miss unless you're ultra talented, like a Cam Newton coming to Auburn, getting that national title, leaving. One and done can work, but you better be super talented.
Especially at the high school level where you're still developing these young men. You want to get more time with them in the weight room, more time in the film room, in every aspect of coaching.
And camaraderie. I mean, a lot of these teams have such a tight group already, so you want to give those players a chance to, to buy in and be accustomed to what they're looking for.
Our third spotlight player for St. Francis, yes, another transfer this year. Third-year varsity starter Trent Buttles spent the last 2 seasons in Rochester at St. Thomas Aquinas, where he had 38 total touchdowns, just 5 interceptions as a freshman and sophomore combined at Aquinas. He now moved with his grandmother, who lives right down the street in Athol Springs, just outside of Hamburg here in western New York, and follows his 7-on-7 coach, Lee Benke, to come over to St. Francis. Lee, now as a wide receivers coach at St. Francis, said, he's a longtime family friend. Come on down to Athol Springs. We'll treat you well, and you could lead this team to unprecedented heights. And so far, he has done that with a 7-1 record this year. Trent Buttles, a key reason why.
That whole story right there sounds like out of Blue Chips old movie about illegal recruiting and all the. Not that there was anything done, but when I hear stories like that, I just love that we're just finding grandmothers' homes in areas, and we have coaches coming to help. That's football, though. I transferred to a Catholic school.
You did?
I did it as a junior. Yeah, I went to to play football and have success and be a part of a winning team. So whatever it is, if it works, it works.
And to be fair, Trent Buttles' parents, his mom is from the area. She went to Depew
and I wasn't
High
saying
School.
that. It just takes me back to how many times when you hear Catholic schools, we're always going to get it. I say we because I was part of it. We always get accused of that.
It is neat, though. Buttles wasn't even born in Rochester, so his mom's from Depew, and then he's born in Warsaw, New York, middle of nowhere down south in the southern tier. And then his parents moved to West Henrietta in Rochester. He goes to Aquinas for the first 2 years of high school. Now he's here in western New York. But when I talked to him in practice earlier this week, he said the thing that he misses most about being in Rochester is the time with his family. He's FaceTiming him every night. He's got 4 younger sisters who he doesn't get to see anymore. It brings a little personal side to it. He's coming here to play football, yes, but there's a lot of sacrifice involved.
Every time you make a move like that, there is sacrifice, and it's nice of you to point that out and for him to acknowledge it because it's hard. You don't realize what you're giving up. You give up family and friend time for your need to play with a certain style of football. You want to win. You believe in this team. That's a sacrifice.
Trent Buttles, our final spotlight player for St. Francis. The Red Raiders are 7-1 overall. They are in search of their first ever New York State Catholic High School championship. They've never won it in the last 15-plus years that they've had the state tournament, despite winning the Monsignor Martin postseason title 6 times in their program's history since 2007, though. Recent success for Jerry Smith and his staff, looking to capitalize on a terrific group of juniors, and they're well insulated with some seniors on both sides of the ball who pack a punch. We'll talk about all of those seniors and more when we kick off in just about 5 minutes. We'll step aside for a quick moment and return with the final segment of our Brighton Liquor and Wine pregame show. Brighton Liquor and Wine at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. We'll have our keys to the game for tonight. And then kickoff from Athol Springs, New York. St. Francis hosts Canisius for the game of the year. The number 1 seed on the line on Friday Night Lights Saturday Special, presented by Villa Maria College.
I told you that your dreams were too big, that becoming a doctor was out of reach. But at Duville University, we build unstoppable professionals. We're about getting you ready to dominate your field. It's time to stop dreaming. and start achieving. Do you want to be unstoppable?
Visit Villa Maria College and discover what it means to be a Viking. Come see the energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
Listen to Buffalo Toronto Public Media The Bridge wherever you are. Search for the BTPM Listen app on all your devices.
The learning and engagement projects from Buffalo Toronto Public Media impact our community by entertaining and informing.
Families are engaged, adults, grandparents.
They reach students and children.
There's something there for everybody.
They provide educators with material that is up to date, that is informative, and that really ignites curiosity in our students that is so crucial to creating lifelong learners.
Or if it's just a really well done piece of content.
Exactly.
They're exciting, they're engaging, and they are so educational.
Wow!
But the thing that is so great is their accessibility. You can have a phone, a desktop computer,
Or you find it on your tablet or you find it on television.
and there they are.
Helping families to do what they want to do for their children and for their future here in Western New York. It makes our community a better and stronger place because of it.
Listen to BTPM Classical wherever you are on the BTPM Listen app. Find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
A well-crafted will or estate plan speaks volumes about your hopes and dreams for the future. It also ensures that what you've worked a lifetime for is distributed according to your wishes. As Buffalo Toronto Public Media looks to our future, we would be honored to share your legacy and ensure that quality public broadcasting is here for future generations. Please contact me, Lisa Latrovato, at 716-845-7031 for more information.
Listen to BTPM NPR wherever you are on the BTPM Listen app. Find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Brighton Wine and Liquor, located at 930 Brighton Avenue in Tonawanda, features wines from all over the world and expert curators who can help you select the right wine or spirit for your occasion. Brighton Wine and Liquor, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda.
Oh, it's a great night to be in Athol Springs. The rain has let up just as the teams take the field ahead of the national anthem. St. Francis in their alternate black uniforms with red numerals below the gold helmets with the SF logo on the side. Canisius also gold heads like Notre Dame across the way. The golden helmets ahead of the white jerseys and blue pants for Canisius on the far sideline. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday special, presented by Villa Maria College. As the teams take to their sidelines, they will get set for the national anthem after a quick prayer as well. As they do that, Jim, let's get over our team objectives for tonight. First, for the visiting Canisius Crusaders, who again snapped the streak of 6 straight losses last year to St. Francis. Their objectives, 2 of them for tonight. Defensively, they've got to make Dominic Cook Jr. earn his yards.
It's just scary if they're going to gash 8 yards a carry, just make them earn it.
Number 2 key for Canisius. Offensively, they've got to stretch the field.
Harrison and Cullinan can get down the field, help out Kimball and Hernandez.
You're saying that stretch the field because you're expecting load
yeah,
the box.
You know
and
they're
stop
going to try.
Kimball.
You're going to have opportunities. See if you can catch them off.
For St. Francis, their objectives on defense, they've got to force the grind of the Crusaders.
That's it. Big plays are killers.
And number 2 for St. Francis, offensively, they cannot throw an interception.
And we say that interception specifically because of 7, and not that that's a high number or anything concerning, but it's a number that we don't see on some of the other quarterbacks. So to me, there may be an opportunity. Eliminate it.
Trent Buttles, 15 touchdown passes this year, 7 interceptions. But again, looking back at his career at St. Thomas Aquinas, he had 5 interceptions his freshman and sophomore years combined. So is 7 an outlier? Probably this year.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I bring it up.
The team captains are lined up for the coin toss, and boy, there's a whole lot of media here tonight. This is certainly the game of the year in Western New York and in the Monsignor Martin specifically. As the playoffs roll on in Section 6, this game will decide the number 1 seed in the Monsignor Martin playoffs to begin next week. The captains for St. Francis walk out from the near sideline, those captains being Evan Necker, Dominic Cook Jr., Sam Skalke, and their offensive lineman representative, Brooks Runfola. On the opposite side for Canisius, their 4 captains march across the field in their golden helmets. They all tap heads and shake hands as true gentlemen and leaders. Amir Hernandez, a captain for Canisius, Elijah Kimball there as well, along with their offensive and defensive line representative, Javez Caldwell, who we expect to make an impact tonight. And the 4th captain, Darnell Gilmore, the senior wide receiver, defensive back. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you all evening long in Athol Springs. Luckily, the rain has let up, Jim. The wind off the lake, though, less than a mile away from the stadium, could be a factor tonight.
Always. We saw it last night. It wasn't a factor last night, but it always can be. Wind is a nightmare. Hey, Jack, uniform-wise, this game is like the San Francisco 49ers against Navy.
Ooh. Those are the similar looks, yeah, I'd say.
More Navy than Notre Dame tonight for Canisius.
That's fair. Yeah, the gold helmet's
the helmet is
blue and white.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I like it.
Just to give a visual.
Well, and we've got some Division I products on both sides of the field. 9 in total. We'll see and here take the field just after this when we return with kickoff on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday Night Special. This has been the Brighton Liquor and Wine pregame show at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda.
Visit Villa Maria College and discover what it means to be a Viking. Come see the energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
A well-crafted will or estate plan speaks volumes about your hopes and dreams for the future. It also ensures that what you've worked a lifetime for is distributed according to your wishes. As Buffalo Toronto Public Media looks to our future, we would be honored to share your legacy and ensure that quality public broadcasting is here for future generations. Please contact me, Lisa Latrovato, at 716-845-7031 for more information.
At PBS, we know that helping students learn is a teacher's top priority. That's why we offer our free, easy-to-use digital platform, PBS Learning Media. With thousands of standards-aligned resources in every subject, plus videos and interactive activities from the trusted programs you know and love. Wildcrats, Nova, Ken Burns, and much more. Find the content you need to enhance lessons and help spark your students' sense of curiosity at PBS Learning Media. Visit pbslearningmedia.org to learn more.
Support for Buffalo Toronto Public Media's Friday Night Lights comes from our members and from your local Denny's. America's Diner is always open. Denny's salutes Section 6 student athletes, serving you with 18 locations throughout the region.
Visit Villa Maria College and discover what it means to be a Viking. Come see the energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
Listen to BTPM Classical wherever you are on the BTPM Listen app. Find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Listen to BTPM NPR wherever you are on the BTPM Listen app. Find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Listen to Buffalo Toronto.
We are set for kickoff in Athol Springs, New York on BTPM's Friday Night Lights, a Saturday night special presented by Villa Maria College. College isn't about inventing who you, it's not about having it all figured out, it's about inventing who you are going to become. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you. Canisius will receive the opening kickoff in this battle between the top two teams in the Monsignor Martin Athletic Association, both 2-0 in league play. St. Francis 7-1 will kick it off from right to left across your radio dial. Thanks for joining us on BTPM NPR and BTPM's YouTube channel. Jim, with Canisius getting the ball to start this game, St. Francis, you know they've got to be aware of the return game for Canisius. Jacob Janets to kick off for St. Francis in their alternate black uniforms on Saturday night. They're off to the races. Kick high in the air, bounces at the 10-yard line, just over the head, scooped out of midair by Canisius as a flag is thrown at the near sideline, and as the play comes to an end, just as the return man gets to the 20, another flag comes in after the play. The return for Canisius, Noah Harrison, gets maybe 15 yards. Now some flags to sort out.
Yeah, that's a dangerous way. You don't want to let the ball hit on the kickoff return. You need to catch this thing on the air. And that caused the whole thing. The whole operation was thrown off when it hit the ground. And he took a shot. That was a delivery. That was a big-time hit.
A holding call against Canisius, the first flag. And the only one that is relayed to us that will back up the Canisius starting drive 10 yards from the spot. At the 10-yard line, the Crusader offense will take the field, led by their junior star running back Elijah Kimball. Over 1,000 yards on the ground already, entering the 9th and final week of the regular season in 2025. Kimball on the left hip of Brousseau. It's a handoff on the right side. Kimball has a blocker up the sideline, gets out of bounds as he gets across the 20-yard line right near the sticks. Elijah Kimball, first play, 10 yards, first down Crusaders.
Tackle made by sideline, and that sometimes is your best friend when you're playing a great running back like this, but Kimball just showed his ability, that first step explosion to get outside in space, run through tackles. Nice job getting him out of bounds.
Shotgun formation for Brousseau. Elijah Kimball with neon green sleeves and shoe tops to match his mouth guard. It's a handoff to him on the left side. He is met in the hole and pushed backward by St. Francis. Caden Wright, the cornerback, in there for the tackle with a few other Red Raiders wearing black tonight.
Like we talked about, make them earn it. And that was big right there.
Still a gain of 3 for Canisius.
And 3's good, but we know 3 is almost like a negative play against Kim. I mean, seriously, you hold him to 3. That's a great job.
Second down, 7 to go. At the 23-yard line. Snap directly to Amir Hernandez. The running back takes it up the left side, turns the corner at the tackle, stays inside the hashes, and is taken down right away by the hip. He's dropped down near the 30-yard line, just before it at the 29. It's a pickup of 6 to set up 3rd and 1.
That first step explosion with Hernandez and quickness, you see the change of pace. I love that different dynamic they both have. Good gain. Good tackle by St. Francis, gang tackle.
3rd down and 1 for Canisius. St. Francis has 5 lined up on the defensive line, and they all come. Direct snap to Kimball up the middle. He shakes past 2 tackles, stays on his feet as he falls across the 40-yard line. A first down for Canisius after a pickup of 11 for Elijah Kimball.
What I like, the finish there, Dominic Cook, the safety, makes a nice tackle, and I like his energy, but you can't celebrate on plays like that. That was a big run by Kimball. Don't get too excited. Kimball is a beast. We know it. His patience is good, too, for a guy. We see his explosion. We know he's got some speed, but he's still being patient. He's not just running up. He's playing with, he's reading his blocks. He's letting the line create some space.
Just about 2 minutes into the opening quarter, Canisius moving the ball well on the ground. Direct snap, Hernandez for 1st and 10 at their own 40. Left side, he follows the left tackle, but St. Francis is there smothering the play. A few St. Francis Red Raiders on the far side of the defensive line in on the tackle. Luke Fleischman, the outside linebacker, as a junior, makes the tackle for the Red Raiders after a gain of 4.
So it's always, what have you done for me lately? You get a nice play like that, hey, 4-yard gain, that's a great job by the defense, but now you have to follow it up with another good play to make this 3rd and long.
2nd and 6 at the 44-yard line for Canisius on their own side of the 50. Brousseau fakes the handoff, rolls to his right, throws on the run. It's caught on the near side. Turning upfield across midfield goes the wide receiver who leaked out. Quentin Littleton makes the catch and gets all the way to the St. Francis 45-yard line. Another Crusader first down.
They had a nice little deep down the field deep ball threat that wasn't open. A good job by Brusco. Hey, let's see. He's wide open on the outcut. Accurate throw, delivers it to him, and is able to make a play, run after the catch.
Quentin Littleton, his first catch of the season. That's a big moment for the sophomore running back. Now, 1st and 10 for Canisius inside St. Francis territory. First drive of the game. At the 45 on the near hash, it's a handoff for Kimball. Jukes to his left, breaks 2 tackles. Then he gets crunched as he was wrapped up down low. He got hit up high by the defensive end, Terrence Ware, who cleaned up the tackle. A gain of maybe 3 for Kimball and the Crusaders. And the spot's even shorter. Just 2 yards on the ground for Elijah Kimball, standing at 5'10", 185 pounds.
I'm going to tell you, Romello Dunn right now for St. Francis is feeling himself. The nose tackle up front, making things hard on first down for them to gain yards. I'm really impressed with this first down defense. It's now when we need to see them capitalize on the first down defense, now make a play. But Dunn was feeling himself.
A gain of just 2 on first down for Canisius, 2nd and 8 at the St. Francis 43. Russo fakes the handoff, airs it out down the left side. The pass is intercepted. St. Francis picks it off. The Red Raiders get the pick at their own 20-yard line. Andre Amos, the junior, picks it off for Franny's.
Outstanding ball skills and hands to finish off that pick. I like them taking a shot right there. You know, when you're running the ball like that, you have to be able to show a little play, be able to take your shot. That was a big-time play by, sorry, I couldn't see the name, Jack.
Andre Amos.
Amos did an outstanding job showing body control and ball skills to finish that pick. That's a playmaker in the secondary. That wasn't just an interception. That's what you call a playmaker. That's going and getting the ball. Some picks come right to you, and we call them gifts. That was not a gift. He went and got that. That was a big-time play.
Just the 4th interception thrown by Brusco this season. St. Francis will start their first offensive drive at their own 16-yard line. 8:33 to play in the opening quarter. Canisius killed a lot of clock on that first drive, Jim, but to no avail. St. Francis defense, it started with the defensive line and ends with the defensive backs.
Every level of football, turnovers is everything.
You're listening to Friday Night Lights on BTPM, a Saturday special. It was Canisius who took a penalty on the Denny's kickoff. Denny's, America's Diner, is always open. It was back at their own 10-yard line. Their drive started. They were moving in chunks down the field. The first time they air it out all game, picked off by Amos, and now Trent Buttles and the St. Francis offense takes the field. 1st and 10 at their own 16. Buttles hands it off near side. It's Tyrone Clark Jr. up the near sideline, turns the corner and is pushed out of bounds. Chased out of the play by the outside linebacker, the freshman, TJ Shuford for Canisius. A gain of 5 up the near sideline for Franny's.
Strong run. I like the finish to gain those extra yards. Back to St. Francis's defense. That interception was a result of your first down defense that we were talking about. You capitalize, you force them into wanting to throw.
Pick up a 5 on first for the Red Raiders. Buttles, read option, hands it off to Clark. Right up the middle, he follows the center, but is stopped there. The defensive end, Connor Gain, hit him low right away. It's a gain of 5 and a first down for St. Francis. To the 25-yard line they go on their own side of the field.
Clark is strong. Right off the bat, you see his strength. He is downhill runner. He's going to bring it every time.
Buttles in the gun for 1st and 10 at the 25, fakes the give to Clark, then takes off and runs up the middle, and he's got plenty of space. Trent Buttles all alone is chased from behind by Hernandez. Trent Buttles, touchdown, St. Francis. No flags, 75 yards, touchdown, Red Raiders.
So Buttles has speed. I mean, he ran away from everybody. And to think Hernandez, I don't know if you thought so, Jack. I thought Hernandez looked like he had a good angle on him, was going to close. And Buttles kicked in a second gear to finish that thing and ran away from Hernandez, pulled away from him. That was a design, pump fake, and just go up the middle, run up the middle. That was a beautifully designed and finished by Buttles. What a run. Speed.
Jacob Janis to attempt the extra point. No, it's a fake. Snap to the up man and ran into the end zone. The 2-point conversion for St. Francis is good. Some trickery from St. Francis. Jerry Smith reaches into his bag. 34 years of coaching, and he held that one back all year long to use against Canisius. It's 8-0 St. Francis as Landon Govin takes it in on the 2-point try, and he paid the price. He limps off the field, but with an 8-0 lead for St. Francis. Your score brought to you by Mr. Goodbar, your home for away games on Elmwood Avenue. 7:41 to go in the first quarter. 8-0 St. Francis over Canisius.
You know, anytime you think about like a boxing match and you come out and you just see that first round and you see the one team just deliver the blows. St. Francis has just turned the ball over, caused a turnover, and finished down the field in the end zone and go for two. That's what you call winning the first round. Doesn't mean you're going to win the fight, but that's a knockout. That's a hard way to come out on Canisius. Now, how is Canisius going to answer is what you always love to see. Great teams usually find ways to come right back down the field.
It just took 3 plays for St. Francis.
That design was beautiful. That caught them off. That was a gap. Right, I mean, Jack, that was what's the cliche, parting of the seas.
Yeah.
I mean, that was textbook.
Trent Buttles, 6th touchdown on the ground this season. His 21st overall of his junior campaign gives St. Francis the 8-0 lead. Set for the Denny's kickoff. Denny's, America's Diner, is always open. Janis, a squib kick to the far side, rolls past Amir Hernandez and is scooped up on the far side for Canisius. Out of bounds before the 30-yard line by the returner who scooped it up. That being one of their top wideouts, Noah Harrison, who we haven't seen so far. It was an interception that ended the drive for the Crusaders their last time out. After moving the ball, again, in chunks, they were moving down the field on the ground. Their first big passing play, an interception, and Matteo Brusso has to think about it now as he comes out for their second drive of the night.
And going to be interesting to see if St. Francis can continue to make them earn their yards on first down. That's what I want to see. Is Canisius going to do something different? Maybe they're going to come out with a little more variety on first down to change things up. For some reason, Kimball's leaving the game. Looks like a uniform thing.
Yeah, Kimball taken off right before the play. Hernandez comes in to dot the I, and shotgun is Brusso. It's a handoff to Hernandez, left side, pounds into the line, and is met there at the 33-yard line. Pickup of maybe 3, the defensive line for St. Francis. Again, making it tough, Jim. That time it was Willie Wortketter who picks up the tackle.
No, and that's what we're talking about. We know that they're physical right now, but that was a good 5-yard gain for Canisius. I like that. They went right downhill. Kimball goes out of the game. They stuck with the play. Hernandez easy.
Meanwhile, Landon Govin, who had the 2-point conversion, is put onto the cart to go get looked at by the trainer. It's a throw to the left side on 2nd and 5, and Brusso nearly threw another interception just through the hands of the St. Francis cornerback on the far side, Caden Wright. He didn't bring it down.
Yeah, Caden Wright's going to be thinking about that all night. Nice break on the ball, got to finish the play. That's the difference between PBUs, which are nice, get that pick 6, which is difference makers.
Now 3rd and 5 for Canisius at their own 34-yard line, working left to right across your radio dial, nearing the halfway point of the opening quarter. The Crusaders looking to respond after a touchdown scored by St. Francis in 3 plays, their only times touching the football. A whistle blows before the snap for Canisius, and Coach Craig Kreuzer wants a timeout. Class of 1984, Craig Kreuzer, head coach and offensive coordinator at Canisius. Spent plenty of years at Williamsville South beforehand. For Coach Kreuzer to return to his alma mater 4 years ago, he expressed his deep gratitude to, of course, the school and the leadership team that hired him. But what a great feeling to go back to your alma mater after so many years, and then you find a player like Elijah Kimball in Western New York what a way to cement your legacy as a head coach. This just his 4th year, the 3rd with Elijah Kimball.
Yeah, the hard part's going to be when you lose them at some point. You know, how do you react after? But, man, enjoy it. You don't get this much. And as any coach, it's a gift. You deserve this as a coach who loves football. It's your alma mater. You deserve this to coach a great player like Kimball. And Kimball deserves a coach that wants to be there like that. You know, you don't want coaches that are just trying to look for their next job. It means something for Coach Kreuzer to be here.
6:59 to go in the opening quarter on Friday Night Lights Saturday Special presented by Villa Maria College. 3rd down, 5 to go for Canisius. Kimball is the running back after the uniform issue 2 plays ago. Man in motion across the field to the far side. Brousseau takes the shotgun snap. He's pressured, throws while he's hit near side. Kimball lays out for it at the sideline at the 45, but it falls to the turf before he could scoop it out of the air. In coverage on the play was St. Francis Terrence Ware. The defensive end was way out to cover Elijah Kimball. Nothing doing for the Crusader offense. 3 and out. They line up to punt from their own 34.
The coverage was outstanding. Looked like a man-free type coverage. Just outstanding job with pass rush and coverage. Dominant right now in the first quarter for St. Francis. Sending a message.
Punt team out for Canisius. 4th down, 5 to go from their own 34. It's a tough snap for the punter to handle, but Lucas Bonilla gets it away. A hop at the 35, and both St. Francis returners let that ball roll, and it keeps rolling. Like a curling team, 3 and 4 Crusaders surround it and try to push the air to move it further down the field. Finally, it settles at the 11-yard line. A wonderful punt for Bonilla, and St. Francis starts back inside their own 15 for their 2nd drive of the game.
We've seen both returners now on each team let a ball drop. You never want to let the ball hit. If you can catch it, catch it.
6:36 to go in the opening quarter. Glad to have you with us on Friday Night Lights, a Saturday special. Hope you're enjoying this weekend of bonus Friday Night Lights coverage.
I'm thinking about curling right now. Next time I watch it, I'm going to be comparing it to a punt, covering a punt. I like that.
Similar.
It was a good comparison.
1st and 10 for St. Francis at their own 12-yard line. Buttles on the far hash takes the shotgun snap. Hand off to the running back up the middle. Just a couple of yards as Canisius gets right over to shut down Tyrone Clark. It's been Clark so far, the lead back, transfer from St. Francis, a Connolly Cup finalist last year. He's had 2 Connolly Cup Player of the Weeks so far this 2025 season, his junior campaign. He's dealt with some injury issues. He's just under 700 yards on the ground this year, a pickup of 4 on 1st down. Now Buttles to throw on 2nd and 6. He throws the hitch on the near side just before the 30-yard line. It's caught, or before the 20, I beg your pardon. Caught for Evan Necker, his 10th catch of the season. Close to the sticks, but short. Stopped at the 20. 2 yards to go for the St. Francis offense.
Another good throw and catch. I like the decision-making. It was quick. And Noacker does a nice job of using his hands, catching the ball with his frame. Now you got 3rd and manageable.
3rd down and 2 at the 20-yard line, near hash for St. Francis and their alternate blacks. Buttles fakes the give, takes off up the middle. He gets hit from behind by Shuford and taken down just across the 25. It's a 1st down for St. Francis. Trent Buttles showing his athletic ability so far in this opening quarter.
You just nailed it. It was pure athleticism to make that play. It was a miscommunication with, I think it was Clark. They had a miscommunication on who was getting the ball and which way. Buttles made his decision, and the athleticism's outstanding.
1st down and 10 for St. Francis on the near hash. 2 receivers split wide to the right. Buttles hands it off. Up the middle of the field, here goes the running back for St. Francis at the Canisius 40. No one is going to get in front of Tyrone Clark Jr. Touchdown. St. Francis. Tyrone Clark Jr. No flags. Another huge touchdown on the ground for St. Francis.
So he's not just ground and pound, straight ahead runner. 2 breakaway runs.
65 yards on the ground for Tyrone Clark Jr. No one was in the secondary to meet him.
No, they've caught them on 2 plays now where as soon as they get through that first line of defense, it's a wrap. They're catching him, and they're winning by alignment, basically, catching safeties out of position, who is the last line of defense, and nobody's catching.
Jacob Janis didn't get to kick the first one. They went for a fake, and they got it. Up 14-0. Janis, his extra point kick is right through. 15-0. St. Francis with the right hook and the uppercut in the first quarter. 2 big blows on the Crusaders.
Use that boxing comparison after the first touchdown. Yours is even more on point right now because that was like a winning round 1. That's officially they have knocked down Canisius. That is a knockdown. 2 big plays like that to start the game is kind of embarrassing if you're Canisius defense to give up big plays like that. To have that type of gaps and not be able to catch anybody, where's your speed?
Well, we said our keys to the game just before kickoff defensively, make the running backs of St. Francis earn their yards. Well, you've got Buttles, who's nearing 100 yards on the ground, and now Tyrone Clark, who's nearing 100 yards on the ground, each with a long score.
Yeah, not earning.
Score update brought to you by Mr. Goodbar, your home for away games on Elmwood Avenue. It's 15-0. St. Francis at home under the lights on Saturday night. They lead the Canisius Crusaders. 7-1 on the season is St. Francis. They have not lost since week 3 when they fell to Catholic Memorial High School at home. Out-of-state opponent came in, and it was a tough matchup for St. Francis, losing 56-32. Since then, 5 straight victories for the Red Raiders, looking to make it 6 and claim the top seed in the postseason. Set for the Denny's kickoff. Denny's, America's Diner, is always open. It's right off a Canisius Crusader at the 45. Loose ball at the Canisius 42, and St. Francis recovers it. Janet's drilled the first man he saw close to the line, and the Red Raiders fall on it at the Crusader 42. When it rains, it's a torrential downpour for Canisius in the first quarter.
So we're going to keep doing boxing cliches, or we're going to let it roll? Because at this point now, it's 2 knockdowns. I mean, and we're still in round 1. I mean, to get that onside kick.
4:30 to go in the opening quarter. St. Francis, after a 65-yard touchdown run from Tyrone Clark, take the ball right back at the Crusader 42. Buttles, read option, and he hands it off on 1st and 10. The offensive line clears a pathway, and it's taken by Clark 7 yards downfield, down to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, and the dose of Clark right now is real. Like we saw, we know he's physical. We know he's going to gain those tough yards like that. But for him to show us that speed now, this is going to be a nightmare defending them.
St. Francis, gain of 5, 2nd down. Buttles fakes the pass. He's chased from behind. He skirts past Kimball, who came in trying to tackle him in the backfield. But Buttles is able to scurry out of the pocket and pick up another 4 yards. Close to the line to the gain is the junior quarterback for St. Francis, Trent Buttles. 4 Division I offers, all in the Mid-American Conference, except Temple is also interested as well. UB, Akron, and UMass have offered him in the MAC. Trent Buttles, there's a reason he's getting looks at the next level as he picks up the first down with his legs again.
Playmaker right now. Kimball's going to hurt that. That's going to hurt. Kimball had that for a loss of yards. Great job by Buttles.
Trent Buttles in shotgun for 1st and 10 at the 33. It's a handoff left side. Clark gets tripped up at the line of scrimmage by Quentin Littleton. It's a gain of a couple. Another 4 to 5 yard gain on the ground for St. Francis. They have all the momentum for this standing room only crowd all the way around the track, including the student section in highlighter colors to our left for St. Francis. 2nd down and 5. It's a keeper for Buttles. Tucks it under his right arm near sideline, takes off, and he runs out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Trent Buttles with a 15-yard gain on the ground and another St. Francis first down.
When they watch the tape of this game, the coaches, they are going to give Tyrone Clark a big-time block on that play. He knocked him out of the way for Buttles to gain those yards. Clark is a dog. That was some big-time toughness.
Tyrone Clark Jr., 2-year varsity player at Lackawanna. His first 2 years in high school. This year his junior campaign. Transfers to St. Francis. Effective to say the least. Handoff to Clark on 1st and 10. He splits the defenders on the right side of the line. Gets down inside the 10. He's tackled at the 4-yard line. Tyrone Clark Jr. picks up another 11 yards and a first down for St. Francis. Goal to go before we hit the 2.5-minute mark to play in the first quarter. St. Francis hurries up to the line of scrimmage. Buttles in the gun, hands it off. Clark up the middle, easy touchdown for the Red Raiders. 3 scores in the first quarter for St. Francis. They make it look easy against the Crusader defense. 21-0.
So Clark, is Ohio State here? They may need to look at Tyrone Clark because he is on a mission. He is now sitting by himself on the, this is what you do when you're in the zone. Stay away from me. I'm laying people out. I'm scoring touchdowns from length. I'm scoring touchdowns from inside the 10.
Extra point attempt for Janet's high kick through the uprights. Boy, it just had enough distance, but it was over the top of the upright. Called good, 22-0. St. Francis the lead over Canisius, 2:36 to go in the opening quarter of play on BTPM's Friday Night Lights. Your score brought to you by Mr. Goodbar, your home for away games on Elmwood Avenue. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you. This first quarter has been all St. Francis. Why?
Both playmakers. Buttles at quarterback taking advantage of the offensive line, creating a huge gap, and Buttles finishes it in the end zone. Tyrone Clark finished in his play in the end zone, and then you have guys complimenting each other when Clark makes that block to spring Buttles. And then they feed. I love that they give Clark the ball, get that touchdown, reward yourself from the block. Up front, they're doing a great job. And we're going to talk about that. Just those subtle plays when Kimball misses that could have been a tackle for a loss. You missed that play off the edge earlier in the drive. Those plays, you can't miss those plays. Those are critical when you're down and you have to make everything right. Everything counts right now.
3 drives for St. Francis, 3 touchdowns, and they're set for the Denny's kickoff. They had a fumble recovery on their last one as they aimed right at Harrison. This time it's a clean kick for Janice, high in the air, fielded at the 11-yard line for Canisius. Their return man across the 10-yard line, Xavier Gates Franklin, gets run into at the 22 as St. Francis swarmed to the football. First on the stop looked to be Evan Greenaw, the junior linebacker on special teams, makes the play for St. Francis. No explosive plays allowed yet for Canisius. 1st and 10, they start with the football for their 3rd offensive drive of the game. Down 22-0, they begin this drive at their own 23-yard line.
And we know the first down success that this defense has had. It's really been the difference in this game for me. They've shown, we talked about it, make them earn their yards.
2:28 to go in the opening quarter of play. 22-0 St. Francis. Run by Kimball, left side, and he is crunched. Stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Joshua Egby makes the stop. The defensive end picks up his first tackle for loss on the season as he smothers the top running back for Canisius.
That was physical, and St. Francis has been physical all night, but for him to win off the snap like that and finish the tackle, big-time hit. Funny to think that's his first one of the year. What a better night.
Under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Canisius backed up after the loss of 2. 2nd and 12. at their own 21. It's a handoff left side. Amir Hernandez has the first down. He tries to juke past another. He uses the speed to get past the 40, where he is tackled on the far sideline. Amir Hernandez, boy, you talk about thunder and lightning with most backfields. This is 2 lightning bolts, and Hernandez takes off for the first down.
He did. He showed his quickness right there once he got past the line of scrimmage to find those extra yards. Little change up right there. Get the direct snaps, change it up a little bit.
Canisius hurries up, trailing 22-0 in the first quarter. Over 90 seconds to go in the quarter. Hernandez gets the direct snap right up the gut. He finds a lane and gets 9 yards. Hernandez, the spark for Canisius this drive. Second down and 1 they've got at their own 49. Timeout on the field called by St. Francis. Coach Jerry Smith and their defense want to take it easy after 2 big plays from Hernandez.
So basically, Canisius comes out a little different, little tempo to get this thing moving, a little more Hernandez. Maybe they weren't ready for it. Let's just take a breather here. Let's regroup. Let's try something different. Stop the bleeding. Make them earn it again. I like that timeout.
Now, Jim, you transferred from a public school to a private school during your high school career as a quarterback. What was the difference for you in Pennsylvania? It might be a little different here in Western New York, but from public to private, what were your takeaways?
It is different everywhere. For me, where I was, it was more of a step up in play. I was able to play against the best players in Central PA. It was Harrisburg. It was Cumberland Valley. And that I wanted to be a part of something special like that and compete with players and try to win some games against the best competition. That's really why I like to do it.
And it worked out for you pretty well.
It was a great experience, probably the best experience of my life.
So on the sideline, we have an update. Dominic Cook Jr. has a brace on his knee, and he's walking with his shell off, helmet off. It looks like Cook won't be available tonight. Run on 2nd and 1 for Canisius at their own 49. A flag flies at the snap, and this is a false start against the Crusaders. It'll back them up to their own 44 to bring up 2nd and 6. Not having Dominic Cook Jr. for St. Francis limits both sides of the ball.
It explains why we're getting that dose we've had of Tyrone Clark like this. I kept waiting to see it. It explains so much. And to your point, you lose a weapon, you're lucky you have this cushion right now when you lose a weapon because you've just given yourself a chance.
2nd down and 6 for Canisius at their own 44. Brousseau, handoff, Kimball up the middle, shakes away from one-arm tackle, falls forward across the 50. An 8-yard gain for Kimball on the ground as he bowls over Buttles to end the play. It's near the yard to gain, and it will be a Crusader first down. But a flag thrown at the end of the run. This late in the season, Jim, for Monsignor Martin teams, coached by Craig Krzyzanski and Jerry Smith, you don't expect flags to be an issue, especially for holds or false starts, as Canisius is caught with on back-to-back plays.
Nope, that's every level, every coach will tell you. You can't beat yourself. Penalties are just so hard, and when you're playing from behind, you don't have any room for error. Those things are just critical.
So a 10-yard penalty for holding against Canisius backs them up for 2nd down and 12 at their own 38-yard line. Canisius tight formation, just one wide receiver high. It's a direct snap to Hernandez, left side. He gets met at the line of scrimmage. 4 bodies fall backward for Canisius as St. Francis sends the house. Works out for Jeremy Gother.
This D-line is so physical right now. And we talked about this as our keys to the game for their defense was force the grind. They're forcing the grind. We've not seen any big plays from Canisius running the ball.
Jeremy Gothier, the sophomore cornerback, came flying in over the top to clean up the tackle. Everyone is bought in for St. Francis, leading 22-0. Less than 30 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Canisius faces 3rd down and 10 from their own 30, make it their own 40-yard line. A flag before the snap, and this could be on St. Francis. 2 flags this drive against Canisius have backed them up. But as Canisius pointed for a jump from the St. Francis D-line, the official says, hang on a second, it's a false start against Canisius. This will back them up 5 more, but hang on a second, because the officials were, the side judge and the line judge were both pointing against St. Francis as a jump for an offside call, and now the officials confer with each other. 11 seconds to play in the opening quarter. 3 touchdowns this quarter for St. Francis. 75 yards on the ground for Trent Buttles. 65 yards on the ground for Tyrone Clark Jr. And then 4-yard run for Tyrone Clark Jr. Their 3 scores so far. St. Francis went for 2. Their first touchdown, they got it. That's the 22-0 score we've got. Now we've got an official ruling. It is an offside call against St. Francis. Final 5 seconds tick away after the penalty yardage is awarded. Canisius in the gun. They do not snap the football as the clock winds down to zeros. The first quarter in the books. St. Francis wins it 22-0 through 12 minutes of football. Let's pause for station identification, and we'll be back on the other side of this break. You're listening to BTPM NPR, WBFO and WBFO HD1 Buffalo, WUBJ Jamestown, and WOLN Olean, a service of Buffalo Toronto Public Media Local Sports. 22-0 St. Francis, the lead over Canisius after 1 on BTPM's Friday Night Lights, a Saturday special.
Visit Villa Maria College and discover what it means to be a Viking. Come see the energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
BTPM's Friday Night Lights, in partnership with Section 6, is presented by Villa Maria College, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York. Friday Night Lights is supported by our members and by the WNED Foundation Incorporated. Mr. Goodbar, your headquarters for watching away games on Elmwood Avenue. Denny's, America's Diner is always open. Brighton Liquor and Wine, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. And by SEI. SEI proudly supports the WNED Foundation.
These days, it seems like there are people who think the voting process is absolutely lawless. Like you just show up and toss your pin on any old ballot. But I'm here to set that straight, because I'm Corey, and this is Compact Civics. First, you have to register. It's a pretty rigid process, but it's not hard to do. In New York State, you can do it at any DMV, by mail, or online. To be eligible to vote in all U.S. elections, you must be a U.S. citizen, meet your state's residency requirements, and be at least 18 years old by Election Day. For the record, non-citizens and permanent legal residents cannot vote. To ensure you can vote, confirm your eligibility, register by your state's deadline, and understand any rule that may affect your voting rights. Voting is the easiest way to participate in democracy and influence governance. But remember, it comes with strict legal guidelines.
Support for Friday Night Lights comes from our members and from SEI. SEI proudly supports the WNED Foundation, connecting communities through the Friday Night Lights tradition. More information at SEIC.com.
Second quarter to get underway. 3rd down and 4 for Canisius to begin the quarter. Direct snap, Amir Hernandez from his own 46-yard line right up the middle. He's got the first down as he leapfrogs over a defender into St. Francis territory. A gain of 6 to pick up the first down right at midfield for Canisius, trailing St. Francis 22-0 on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday Special, presented by Villa Maria College. Jack Kreuzer, Jim Monos with you. Thanks for making Friday Night Lights Saturday Special a part of your evening. No score in the World Series. The Blue Jays and Dodgers tied as they're just underway from the Great White North. 1st and 10 at the 49. It's Kimball who gets the run up the right side. He gets ahead for 6 yards and is down inside the 45-yard line. A skirmish after the play as plenty of St. Francis Red Raiders hit the deck, and there seems to be a late injury at the bottom of the pile. A lineman for St. Francis remains down. Jerry Smith says, hang on, before we send anyone out there, let's see what happened. The lineman pops back up onto his feet. The red numerals of his uniform of black are scrunched up, hard to make out. Looks to be number 55, William Wortketter. And he is, well, how do you say this for a PBS audience? He got hit somewhere you don't want to be hit, and he comes out. He's upset there was no call on it. 2nd down and 5 after the run for Kimball, and it is him as the quarterback in Wildcat. Kimball gets wrapped upstairs by the shoulder pads and thrown down. some words between the cornerback who made the tackle, Caden Wright, and Elijah Kimball after the play. No gain, third down for Canisius.
I love the physicality of Wright. We talked about him dropping that one earlier, the interception. I believe that was him. That was physical right there. If it wasn't, I apologize. But either way, that's a make-up play. That was a big-time tackle on a Division I recruit in space.
You're right. He had the chance for the pick in the first quarter, dropped it. St. Francis defending 3rd and 3 for Canisius. Brousseau back into the game, rolls to his right, throws on the run. It's incomplete. Threw it wide to the right of the intended target on the crossing route across the field. He could not hit the target across the field. It was Dylan Vaughn who couldn't make the catch. Now, 4th down and 3 for Canisius. I know, Jim, you're thinking go for it.
Go for it. But on that play right there, that was a completable ball. Rolling to your right. Tough when you're rolling out. Just a little errant on the throw.
We haven't seen Brousseau make a big-time play yet tonight. Could be the difference. Down 22-0. They're going to put Kimball in on the right hip of Hernandez, who takes the Wildcat snap, charges upfield, gets across the 35-yard line. It's a first down for the Crusaders. Amir Hernandez, the senior running back in the Wildcat, making things happen for Canisius. Moving right to left, they pick up the first down at the Franny's 35.
The direct snaps tonight, Wildcat formation, have been their most success in the run game tonight.
Now Kimball as the quarterback. He takes the snap, runs to the right side, follows the right guard, and gets 4 yards down to the 31-yard line. Canisius, this drive started back at their own 23. They've killed off already over 4 minutes of football going back to the end of the first quarter, trailing 22-0. A positive for the Crusaders to keep this drive moving forward.
Yeah, and St. Francis, this is okay, too. You're still making them grind it out like we talked about. This is okay. Make them earn these points.
That was key number 1 for St. Francis. So far, they've been dominant, both sides of the ball. Handoff Kimball on 2nd down and 5 at the 30. It's a run to the right side. He gets hit down low at the start of the play by Samuel Skalski, who came in from the safety spot. Kimball picks up 4 to 5 yards on the run to set up 3rd and short for the Crusaders at the 27.
Up front, I like the way up front Canisius is responding right now. They're starting to win. They're starting to get the push. I'm starting to see them finish down the field.
3rd down, 2 to go for Canisius. At the 27-yard line, Brousseau in the gun. Hands it off. Kimball finds the hole right side and lowers the shoulder as he truck sticks a defender at the 20. First down, Crusaders. Kimball with a little physicality we haven't seen yet.
A lot of physicality. You're right. Downhill. I like the Connor Gain on that, the tight end coming downhill, clearing some space too. I like the physicality right now of Canisius' team. This is almost like this is their first drive of the game. I mean, this is the best they've looked, but it took till this much time.
1st and 10 for Canisius. Inside the red zone at the St. Francis 19. Hernandez keeps it himself. Right side, the pile pushes backward. There was confusion on both sides on who had the football. Hernandez kept it, and his helmet pops off at the end of the play. So a flag flies at the end of the run. Hernandez barely got back to the line of scrimmage. This flag could aid the Crusaders mightily. It's a personal foul on St. Francis, and this will help Canisius work a little closer to the end zone. 2 hours left, 7:35 to go in the first half. 22-0 St. Francis, the lead over Canisius. Jim, we're still waiting for a big play from the Crusaders.
Which is amazing to think.
Yeah.
This late in the game, we haven't seen any type of chunk play. Hey, right tackle Dylan Gorney on that last play for Canisius. Nice job downfield. I like that violence he was just showing. He was making some St. Francis players a little unhappy in the secondary.
Dylan Gorney, 6'6", 305, moving with speed.
And what if you pay attention to what I just said too, a right tackle was making the secondary players miserable. I love when tackles are downfield like that.
7:30 to go in the first half. Canisius looking to get on the scoreboard. Brousseau in the gun. Kimball on his right hip. Fakes the handoff. Throw to the right side at the 5. The catch is made. Dive to the goal line. Down at the 2 is Jack Cullinan. Canisius in striking distance. First and goal. There's an injured St. Francis Red Raider in the end zone on the near side. And that's the cornerback, Caden Wright, who is sitting in the end zone on the near side. And the training staff comes out to look at him. He was sitting up, pointing at his right leg. Now he lays down as the teams head to their sidelines. 7:06 to go in the first half. Canisius, obviously they have to score here, but what can they do to cut into this deficit if and when they do finish off this drive?
No, you have to almost start thinking about that, Jack. How can we max out this second quarter yet? We can still, let's get this touchdown. Let's get a 3-and-out. Let's get another one, because we know who gets the ball to start the second half.
St. Francis.
So finishing this half for Canisius is big. If they can find a way to get 2 scores here without St. Francis getting 1, they flip the game back.
The injured Red Raider comes to the sideline for St. Francis. Now first and goal for Canisius at the 1. Brusso, handoff, Kimball, Superman, touchdown, Canisius. The Crusaders cut into the deficit halfway through the second quarter. Elijah Kimball, the touchdown for the Crusaders, his 64th of his 3-year high school career.
I wonder if they ever get old. I don't think they do. No-brainer right there, though. It's easy when you have Kimball. That's an easy call. We like that. Everybody likes those as a coach. Give me that one. Now, I'm just telling you for Canisius, big play here to go for 2. I like this.
Brusso is the quarterback for the 2-point conversion. Hernandez, the running back, to his right. In the gun, and a whistle blows as the play begins, and a flag right at the snap, likely against Canisius. Another false start on the Crusaders. Canisius is shaken up in this game. I think the first quarter, down 22-0, got to them a little bit. We've seen multiple false start jumps in this second quarter for the Crusaders.
I mean, anytime you get punched in the face, punched in the mouth, Mike Tyson famous for it, you never find out about yourself till you get hit in the mouth, in the jaw. Canisius got hit. They had to kind of get back on their feet, and they are.
Now the Crusaders will attempt the extra point kick after the penalty yardage is assessed. Max Barr to attempt the kick. High and through the end zone and uprights to our left. Canisius responds after back-to-back touchdowns for St. Francis. 22-7, the Crusaders are on the scoreboard. A drive that elapsed 77 yards and took nearly 9 minutes of football time. Canisius caps it off with a 2-yard rushing touchdown for Elijah Kimball. 22-7 the score. Jim, what did you like from that drive from Canisius?
Up front, Canisius up front. I saw the physicality. I saw them winning down the field, moving the line of scrimmage with their size and strength. Both running backs, I like the direct snaps to either one. They just run power, we get right up in the gap.
Support for Friday Night Lights is brought to you by Rigidized Metals Corporation. From the Buffalo Bills locker room to complete building exteriors, Rigidized Metals products are a marriage of beauty and utility. Glad to have you with us on our Friday Night Lights Saturday special.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable start for Canisius in this game, down 22-0, but to find a way to grind out that drive exactly what the doctor prescribed.
No, it's flipped back now. St. Francis now, they do need to realize, like, it's nice to get the lead, but don't sit on it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, 3-and-out is going to change this whole game.
St. Francis was on the other side of this sort of game against Timon earlier this year. They were down 22-0. They came back to win that game just a few weeks ago, 59-35. Kick on the near side is returned to the far side of the field. The Jets turn on from the 20-yard line. A flag is thrown at the 35, and there's plenty of pushing after the play as well. And on the near side, a flag is thrown after the play as it ended on the far side of the field at the St. Francis 45. And St. Francis is all intermixed within the Canisius side bench area on the far side of the field. The black uniforms being separated from that of the white and blue of Canisius. The return got back to the 40-yard line, but multiple flags on the play. This is when you feel the intensity of the game start to ramp up.
Canisius woke up, and I think that's what's happening. And let's not forget, Dominic Cook is not coming back in this game. So once again, we have a long game ahead of us. You have to readjust. It is. We know Tyrone Clark is a dog right now. I'm not gonna lie. He has jumped out to me tonight. But Clark can get tired. I mean, it's all him now, and they've made a living on two backs.
It was Clark on the return who got to the 40, and then a hold against St. Francis, and then a personal foul against Canisius will offset. So nothing happens with the yardage on the play. It'll be St. Francis, and they pick up the flag that was thrown back at the 35-yard line during the run. So it'll be a 1st and 10 for St. Francis with 6:44 to go in the first half of play, with a 2-score lead, up 22-7. The Red Raiders will take the field from their own 32-yard. Or check that. St. Francis may elect to have Canisius re-kick this football on the Denny's kickoff. Well, that's a interesting case. Ball at the 40-yard line or a chance for an explosive play. This is a big-time decision from Jerry Smith. Do you agree with it?
I agree with him. He knows his team. I'm not going to disagree on this call. That's not our job anyway, right, Jack? But it's still, you love to see anybody has confidence in their special teams like this. Hey, we want to let's try another shot at this. We can get better than that.
St. Francis with Clark deep to receive the kick once more, and Aiden Hopwood, the explosive wide receiver and kick returner from Depew, New York, standing at their own 20-yard line. Canisius will re-kick. They're looking for the football. The kicking football comes flying in. I don't know if that was a coach or a player who threw it onto the field, but it missed everybody.
I think a fan just went to Dick's Sporting Goods and threw the ball in the field. We're just looking for any type of football at this point. Can't say I've seen that before, run out footballs, but.
Well, the kicker for Canisius was off onto the sideline. Max Barr had to find his tee and to find the ball. He thought his job was done.
Pretty sure 2 seconds ago they just kicked it off. Unless I'm crazy, I'm pretty sure it was a kickoff, a penalty. We're going to do it again.
It did happen.
I don't know how things get lost.
Well, whoever's on tee duty tonight's doing a great job. They were out there in a hurry. Well, the Denny's kickoff once again. Denny's, America's Diner, is always open. Barr with a huge boot. This will go all the way to the end zone to our left for a touchback. A squib. It hit off the turf at the 15-yard line, but it split the two return men for St. Francis. Overall, it's a net loss of 15 yards for Jerry Smith with the decision to have Canisius re-kick the football. They'll start the drive at their own 20-yard line. Could that be a turning point in this half?
Yes, very big. To your point, when you asked the question, really kind of, we don't need to guess if it was a good decision or not. The result of the play will tell you. You know what I mean? So he rolled the dice on it, and we all know how that can go sometimes. You don't win every bet.
Two big runs in the first quarter for St. Francis with the fireworks to start the game. 75-yard run for Buttles, 65-yard run for Tyrone Clark Jr. They added one more before Canisius would respond. With the 22-7 lead, St. Francis with 1st and 10 at their own 20. Handoff Clark left side, runs into a scrum. There were just about 14 bodies in a 5-foot radius, all pushing against each other, nothing doing. A gain of just 1 for Clark.
Carryover from the offensive line on the last drive for Canisius. The defensive line is feeding off of it right there. They dominated on that one.
Javels Caldwell, the nose guard for Canisius, right in the middle of it. Brock Beldfell, also at defensive end at 6'7", 310. 2nd down and 9. It's a pass to the near side. Mason Anderson makes the grab just before the 30-yard line. He's spun to the turf by Hernandez. Anderson towers over Hernandez at 6'1", 190. The sophomore makes the grab and now comes off the field for a substitution. Pickup of 5 to set up 3rd down and 3 for St. Francis.
This is exactly what we just talked about. This is a major play for Canisius. If you can find a way to get off the field here, you have given yourself a major chance.
Clark on the right hip of Trent Buttles in shotgun. It's a give to Clark, right side. He's met in the hole. He gets spun down to the turf across the 30-yard line. It's a first down for Tyrone Clark Jr. The interior linebacker, Quentin Littleton, was there, but Clark Jr. cut to his left to just make him miss for a second. Unable to shake off of him, however, but it is a first down for St. Francis.
Caden Wayne for Canisius brought some violence on that hit, too, coming downhill. I like that. But, man, Clark is – he just keeps saying it. Ohio State needs to be here, too. He is putting on a show tonight.
Certainly, the folks from all 33 Division I teams that have offered Elijah Kimball are seeing this game and might take notice in number 9 in black tonight. Tyrone Clark, the handoff. No, check that. Buttles keeps the ball, and he fooled Clark and everybody else as Buttles keeps it, carries up the middle for 5 yards. Nifty ball work from Buttles.
It's what you want as a coach. You're happy with that. That takes practice and effort. That was run seamlessly with the running. When Clark thinks he has it, that's a good sign.
Clark looked back. He was worried the football was on the ground. I've never seen that before either, where the running back himself is like, are you sure you got it?
They don't know.
Trent Buttles, the third-year starting quarterback at the varsity level from Aquinas, first year at St. Francis, had the first touchdown of the game. Still the difference. Buttles, handoff up the middle. Clark tries to push left. Canisius' D-line is there. Javez Caldwell makes the stop. 3rd down and 6 for St. Francis at their own 36-yard line.
What do you think, Jack? 3:40 to go, and we just talked about it. Can you get this stop?
You got to convert the middle 8 if you're Canisius.
Middle 8 is it. It's in effect right now.
Because St. Francis could march down the field, score with no time left, and then get the ball out of half and end the game.
Both teams can really. Canisius can flip it. St. Francis can end it.
Huge play. 3rd down and 6 for St. Francis at their own 36. All their gold helmets look to the right, and a timeout is called as Steve Otremba, the offensive coordinator, didn't like what he saw from the Canisius defense. Timeout St. Francis. They have 1 remaining with 3:18 to play in the first half. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you on BTPM's Friday Night Lights, a Saturday special. Friday Night Lights supported by our members and by DeUville University. Do you want to be unstoppable? And by Mr. Goodbar, your home for watching sports on Elmwood Avenue. And by Brighton Liquor and Wine at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. And by Monsignor Martin Athletics. This 3rd down, again, Jim, could be the difference in this first half. If you're Coach Steve Otremba drawing up the offense, what are you calling?
Well, they've been just steady dose of Tyrone. No reason to think anything else right now. I love everything about number 9. Keep feeding him the ball, however you want to do it.
This offensive line for St. Francis moving bodies as well.
And you can run the ball 2 times here. You don't have to punt the ball back. I mean, if you get 5 yards, go for it. I mean, they haven't shown any reason where they're not stopping Clark. So if you want to get Clark the ball right now, perfect chance.
Tyrone Clark filling in full-time running back as Dominic Cook Jr. is sidelined with an apparent injury, has his knee wrapped up on the sideline and his helmet off. Clark, just another coach tonight for St. Francis, unfortunately for the Red Raiders, as Clark and Cook have both dealt with injuries throughout the course of this year. It's Clark who needs to bear the load tonight. He's done it so far with 2 touchdowns and likely over 100 yards already on the ground in the first half. But without Cook, Clark has that much more weight on his shoulders.
No doubt. I'm just looking
Clark,
at it. It looks like I think they've
Clark's on the sideline coming out for this 3rd down play.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, trying to see if he was okay, but I think he is.
Now the 3rd string running back, Landon Hardy, the 3rd, is in the backfield for St. Francis. 3rd down and 6 at the 36-yard line. Buttles takes the snap in the gun, throws near side. It is to Matt Zielinski at the 40. He makes the grab, and it's just before the yard to gain. Canisius has their fists in the air to signal 4th down. Amir Hernandez is correct. It'll be 4th and 1 At the 40-yard line, St. Francis keeps Clark on the sideline for this 4th and 1 play. It's Buttles' ball or no one else.
Kimball had a break on that. I thought he was going to break that pass up. Nice throw and catch.
4th down and 1. Buttles in the gun, tries the hard count, and he gets the defender to jump for Canisius. Snuck up onto the line was T.J. Shuford, the freshman linebacker, bit on the hard count, and a free 1st down for St. Francis extends the drive with 2.5 to go in the first half.
Yeah, I think Shuford thought he saw a little movement from the center, the quarterback, whatever. There was a little, little gamesmanship up there calling the cadence.
That is a veteran junior quarterback in Trent Buttles. 1st and 10 for St. Francis at their own 46. Buttles in the gun. Hardy, the running back. Drop back to pass. Pressure coming. Buttles over the middle. It's incomplete. Looking well down the field for Aiden Hopwood, but that landed about 5 yards in front of him. How about the pressure there from Brock Bildfell, 6'7", 310 off the edge.
And that's why that throw was off the mark. Big time hit, and pressure always the greatest equalizer for a quarterback. Play was open, nice hit.
The size of these linemen, even for St. Francis on the other side. Right guard Alex Bacon, 6'6", 260 from Amherst, New York. He's moving bodies all night. 2:13 to go in the first half. St. Francis a 22-7 lead, driving from left to right at their own 46. 2nd down and 10. Buttles to pass again. Feels the pressure, takes off left side, breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, spins off another body at the 50, then gets down to the 46-yard line. Hernandez was there to bring him down. Trent Buttles, like a pinball, gets 9 yards.
He just has such a good body control and strength and vision. When he's in the mix, he takes hits, he keeps moving forward. He's a strong runner, too. Very natural running.
3rd down and 3 for St. Francis at the Canisius 47. 95 seconds to play in the first half. St. Francis with a 2-score lead. Low snap, scooped up off the turf by Buttles. He hands it off to the running back, which is Clark, who came back in for the 2nd down run. He gets the 4 yards necessary, or just about at the 45-yard line. Comes down to the spot. It's either a 4th down and 1 or a 1st down for St. Francis. And they're going to have to bring the chains out to measure on the field. 1:13 to go in the first half. 22-7 the lead for St. Francis over Canisius. Friday Night Lights, Saturday special presented by Villa Maria College. College isn't about having it all figured out. It's about inventing who you're going to become. Be sure to stick around and join us for the Rigidized Metals Corporation halftime show. We'll recap the first half between Canisius and St. Francis. We'll take a look at scores around Western New York, including a big game at Section 6 in the Class B playoffs. Depew is at West Seneca East tonight. We'll have an update from them at halftime and a look at what's to come in the Monsignor Martin playoffs. Timon in St. Joe's this weekend as well for the other side of the Monsignor Martin football playoff bracket. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you all night long, or at least until they shut the lights off here in Athol Springs.
Hey, great job all night long. I always think of one thing when I hear that. It's Lionel Richie.
Lionel.
We'll get there. I'm sure we'll. Not tonight. This is a good game tonight. We can't go into it.
Long.
Well, we could, Jack. Take it
all
easy.
Night. It's a good one.
Very good one. He threw me off on it. But great job by St. Francis on this end of this half. We talked about where we thought Canisius, this is their chance to get back in the game. St. Francis, every 3rd down, 4th and short, they have made and now have given themselves a chance to end this half strong.
It will be 4th down and half a yard for St. Francis at the Canisius 45. Now, my friends, the time has come. 4th down and 1 for St. Francis. In the gun, Buttles, hands off. Clark, left side, has the 1st down. Too easy for St. Francis on offense. That was an easy gain of 3 yards for Clark. Now less than a minute to go in the first half. 1 timeout left for St. Francis, looking to add their 4th score of the evening. 1st and 10 at the 45. It's Buttles, chased to his left. He's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Buttles sacked at the 49-yard line. That's the freshman TJ Schuford, who makes up for the false start earlier on the drive. The offside jump allowed St. Francis to continue the drive there. A big-time sack as he chased Buttles out of the pocket.
And right on cue, we know how much that makes everything a difference. What's the timeout situation right now, Jack? That's what I was trying to see. I'm sorry, I couldn't see Canisius' timeout.
That's the timeout for St. Francis. That's their last timeout.
Interesting.
Canisius has 2 timeouts remaining this half.
Okay. Very shocked by that. So, Canisius needs to find a way here. You still have a chance to at least get a block punt. You never know what you could do here to end the half strong with 2 timeouts. Something could happen. You got to be very smart here if you're St. Francis.
Friday Night Lights Saturday Special presented by Villa Maria College is supported by our members and by the Rigidized Metals Corporation. From the Buffalo Bills locker room to complete building exteriors, Rigidized Metals products are a marriage of beauty and utility. With these St. Francis uniforms of black, red, and gold tonight, they've been a marriage of beauty and utility so far tonight. Getting it done, passing game, rushing game. St. Francis looks pretty good. Looking to add on one more before the half expires. 22-7 the lead, second down and 14 at the 49. Buttles airs it out, middle of the field. Oh, it's almost intercepted. At the 30-yard line, it tips off the hands of Amir Hernandez, who went full Superman, laying out for it to the middle of the field. He punches himself in the shin pads as he couldn't hang on to it. Incomplete, the pass falls. Clock stops with 36 seconds to go, and Hernandez looks to be shaken up as he takes a seat, clutching at his leg. Calamity of errors for Canisius on that play.
But Jerry Smith, very friendly to end the half. Taking a timeout and throwing a ball. You have stopped the clock against yourself twice without forcing Canisius to use a timeout. There is plenty that can still go wrong in this half for St. Francis. I just don't know why you wouldn't just be smart here.
I wonder why that is. I mean, Jerry Smith, this is his 37th season coaching. He's got 201 career wins.
He wants points. I want points too, but I mean, as a coach too, you have to, let's set yourself up for make sure your players reward yourself for the lead, and don't throw it away with a silly turnover here.
Do you think he's worried that Canisius will change something up second half and he's got to get more points?
No, I doubt Jerry Smith's worried about much coaching this line. I think he feels strong with his team where they're at right now. I just found it interesting that he stopped the clock twice on himself.
Jerry Smith, quick little backstory on him. He's obviously been the coach here for a long time. He was teaching physical education for a long time as well, but due to a neck surgery that he says went very well and he's feeling great just this past summer, they moved him into the library this year. He's now teaching 1 class a day, and he gets to prep for football the other 9 periods. It's a great life for Jerry Smith, and we're glad to hear that he's doing well with his health, all things considered. 36 seconds to go in the first half. St. Francis for Jerry Smith, 22-7 the lead. Now a timeout called by Canisius as they see how St. Francis comes out of the timeout, lined up with 1 receiver wide to the right. Bunch formation on the left side. 3rd and 14, delayed yet again. This is the second timeout for Canisius. They've got 1 remaining.
Well, these coaches must be friends because that was a friendly timeout as well. I mean, there was really you're just throwing timeouts away to each other right now. It makes no sense. It's not affecting the game at all. You're really setting it up for this 3rd down when, to me, if I'm Canisius, I'm holding on to that timeout. I mean, there's still a chance here. If you get a stop, those timeouts could come into play.
Especially given your inability to pass the ball downfield if you're Canisius. You know you're going to be forced to run the ball or at least give it to a man out of the backfield.
Well, they may not be thinking to score at the end of the half right now. That may be they're just doing their best to make sure they get to half at 22-7, which is fair.
36 seconds to go in the first half.
Not necessarily everybody's style, but I get it, but it's a dangerous way to live. I'd like to call games for your team.
3rd down, 13 to go. At the 47-yard line, Buttles drops back to pass, feels the pressure, steps up, takes off the left side. He evades one tackle at the 45, gets shoved out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Chased out by the cornerback for Canisius, Caden Wayne, who got him there. Not enough for the first down. It'll be 4th and 6 for St. Francis with the clock stopped with 26 seconds to go.
His speed is really impressive. I mean, he ran away from Caden Wayne there. Wayne had a good beat on him.
4th down and 7, they go for it. Buttles backs away, now feels the pressure, rolls to his right, directing traffic. He gets hit while he throws. It's well downfield and out of bounds on the near sideline. And now Canisius gets a free 17 seconds, and flags come out well after the whistle, and the play had ended. 17 seconds to go in the half. St. Francis, after back-to-back timeouts, their 2 play designs got them 6 yards and a throwaway on 4th and long, and now Canisius has a timeout, 17 seconds to work with, depending on this flag situation. Temperatures below 40 in Athol Springs tonight. An eligible man downfield against St. Francis. That's declined by Canisius for good reason. They get the football at the 41-yard line on their own side of the field. They stop St. Francis for the first time tonight.
You know, that was a nice job by Kimball as well on that last incompletion. He had a kill shot on coming downhill before on I'm sorry, on Buttles. He had a kill shot and didn't do it, which would have been such an easy penalty flag for the officials to throw. That showed good discipline by Kimball. Now can you take some shots down the field here?
We've been looking for Noah Harrison all night. Averages 20 yards a catch. So does Jack Cullinan, just under that. When Canisius airs it out, they pick up chunk yardage when they convert. 17 seconds to go in the half. 1st and 10 at their own 41. It's a run for Hernandez up the middle. Has 10 yards, pushes forward across the 50. Has the first down for the Crusaders at the St. Francis 48. Clock stops with 9 seconds to go in the half for the chain gang to move. Clock now starts running, and a spike for Hernandez with 6 seconds to go in the half will give the Crusaders one last breath. They have a timeout remaining. Didn't use it there.
But do they have a kicker is their kicker good enough to hit a 45, 50 type yarder?
They've got a couple on the roster. Max Barr's kicks are usually higher than they are longer.
Got it. So maybe not. So I can't figure out why that. Yeah. But they're still, if you just want to take a shot in the end zone, that's fine too. But if you did have a good kicker here, that would make sense that you could gain some yards, get the timeout.
Maybe it's the kickoff specialist that would take the field goals in Lucas Bonilla. He's had some good kicks so far. Had a touchback earlier this half. Canisius is lined up to go for this one, of course, from the St. Francis 48-yard line. 1st and 10, 6 seconds to go in the half, down 2 scores. Brousseau drops back, rolls to his right, and wants to Hail Mary this one down the field. It is picked off at the 19-yard line by Trent Buttles, and that will end the half. At the 9-yard line, Buttles was the only one near that football. Interception on Brousseau, his 4th of the season, ends the first half of play. 22-7, St. Francis the lead over Canisius on BTPM's Friday Night Lights, a Saturday special presented by Villa Maria College. Halftime show after this on BTPM NPR and BTPM's YouTube.
And pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
BTPM's Friday Night Lights, in partnership with Section 6, is presented by Villa Maria College, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York. Friday Night Lights is supported by our members and by the WNED Foundation Incorporated. Mr. Goodbar, your headquarters for watching away games on Elmwood Avenue. Denny's, America's Diner is always open. Brighton Liquor and Wine, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. And by SEI. SEI proudly supports the WNED Foundation.
Each month, BTPM Classical brings the music off the airwaves and onto the stage. Our live on-stage concerts feature world-class performances and intimate conversations with the artists, all for free at Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Sign up for the next concert at btpm.org/events and watch previous performances on the BTPM YouTube channel.
BTPM NPR's Disabilities Beat promotes awareness and inclusivity, amplifies underrepresented voices, and holds corporations and governments accountable.
What assurance can you offer consumers that these problems won't repeat in New York, and what accountability measures do you have in place?
Hear reports from the Disabilities Beat, hosted by Emily Watkins, every Wednesday on BTPM NPR during Morning Edition and All Things Considered. The BTPM Disabilities Beat is funded in part by the Peter and Elizabeth Tower Foundation.
Hey football fans, check out the USA Wheelchair Football League Tournament, presented by Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Cheer on our very own Buffalo Bills as they face off with the Patriots, the Cowboys, the Raiders, and the Browns.
It's picked off!
Head to the Buffalo Toronto Public Media YouTube channel to stream it now.
Catch up on the latest from Buffalo Toronto Public Media on our YouTube channel. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update.
What if your spare change could help protect the public media you love? When you link your Visa or MasterCard at btpm.roundforgood.com, your everyday purchases are rounded up to the nearest dollar. At the end of the month, that change becomes one simple donation to Buffalo Toronto Public Media, fueling public media and strengthening our community. One cup of coffee, one grocery run, one roundup at a time. You're in control. Pause or cancel anytime. It's simple. It adds up. Small change, big impact.
Support for Buffalo Toronto Public Media's Friday Night Lights comes from our members and from Mr. Good Bar, your Elmwood Avenue home for football and more food, beverage, and atmosphere. At 1110 Elmwood Avenue in Buffalo, Mr. Good Bar, home of DJ Crespo's away game viewing parties.
Great to have you with us from Athol Springs, New York. The train going by behind the field just off the Lake Erie shoreline. At St. Francis High School, it's halftime on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday special, 22-7. St. Francis, the lead over Canisius. Jim Monos and Jack Kreuzer with you. Jim, that first half was explosive in the first quarter for St. Francis. Some questionable decisions in the second quarter, but the only score in the second quarter was Canisius. 7 points for them. They're down 22-7. Let's start with the St. Francis Red Raiders. Trent Buttles obviously impressed right away with a 75-yard rushing touchdown on the first drive of the game. That was a result of an interception from Amos on the defensive side for St. Francis. What jumped out to you right away from the Red Raiders?
Buttles. And just his playmaking ability, more than just the arm. We knew he could run, but his athleticism is really pure and instinctual. He does play like a running back. The arm strength is there. He can make every play. I could see why he would be an FCS-type system where you know you can win. His toughness, his grind, his instincts. You see him at safety making plays, making hits. He's a football player.
And he did end the first half with an interception that will go in the record books.
Well, we can talk about that, too. You can't throw that. If there's not a chance, here's the rule as a quarterback to end a half. If you don't have a chance to get that thing in the end zone for an actual touchdown, throw that thing out of bounds. You can't get a cheap pick like that on your stats.
Yeah, that's tough for Mateo Brusco. But before we get there, it was Clark with back-to-back rushing scores for St. Francis. A 65-yard rushing touchdown for Clark on the second drive of the game for the Red Raiders after forcing a punt on Canisius the drive before. Clark, back-to-back scores, made it 22-0 by the end of the first quarter. Without Dominic Cook Jr. tonight, Jaden Clark has been terrific. Or Tyrone Clark, I beg your pardon, has been terrific.
They haven't skipped a beat on offense. What I'm going to pay attention to with Cook could be on defense as well. You know, he's a good player at safety, too. So losing him in general is not a good thing coming into the second half, especially now that Canisius has taken a breath now. No, they're in. It's a two-score game. I mean, it's 0-0, basically.
You think so? 0-0, even down 2 scores here?
This first drive, especially. If you're Canisius, it's 0-0. You're fine. Get this stop to start the half, and you're right in it.
But what does it take to get a stop to start this second half?
Tyrone Clark. They need to find a way to eliminate him right now and make somebody else beat you on that team.
Is there someone at the linebacker spot for Canisius specifically that you may say they've jumped out so far that could be the answer to Clark?
They're trying. but both have had a tough time matching their speed and athleticism in space. I've seen both kind of get beat to spots.
It's the position group that is the youngest for Canisius. They've got 2 sophomores and a freshman starting at linebacker for them. The sophomores, Quentin Littleton and Dallin Floyd. The freshman, TJ Schuford, has had a roller coaster of a first half. The senior, Caden Wayne, I would think needs to be the focus at linebacker, 45 tackles on the season. He should be the answer, I think, to Tyrone Clark in the second half, but probably not a one-man job.
Well said, and the D-line needs to keep winning at the line to make this even tougher.
For St. Francis, Trent Buttles just keep being Trent Buttles, it seems, in the first half. He was terrific offensively and defensively. He made a couple nice tackles on Elijah Kimball that kept Canisius from having a big play on the ground.
Buttles is as advertised.
The junior stands at 6 foot, 190 pounds. He's been terrific. We will get you our objectives after a quick message from our supporters. Friday Night Lights presented by Villa Maria College. College isn't about having it all figured out. It's about inventing who you're going to become. We continue on with the halftime show brought to you by Rigidized Metals Corporation. From the Buffalo Bills locker room to complete building exteriors, Rigidized Metals products are a marriage of beauty and utility. You're listening to BTPM NPR, WBFO, and WBFO HD1 Buffalo, WUBJ Jamestown, and WOLN Olean, a service of Buffalo Toronto Public Media Local Sports. 22-7 is the score in favor of St. Francis. We continue halftime after this.
Brighton Wine and Liquor, located at 930 Brighton Avenue in Tonawanda, features wines from all over the world and expert curators who can help you select the right wine or spirit for your occasion. Brighton Wine and Liquor, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda.
If you're from Western New York, you know snow. And unfortunately, you know how damaging those annoying potholes can be. But do you know what's involved in filling those potholes so your car tires stay intact? Let me put you on, because maintaining roads involves way more than the average citizen might think. Corey here with Compact Civics. Cities, counties, and states all take part in this process. How? Well, a state might be responsible for filling potholes and paving, but a city handles snow plowing and de-icing. Try and imagine a city or town without a public works department. No one to manage schools, hospitals, roads, bridges, airports, water, sewage, parks, beaches. We deserve these spaces, and our taxes pay for it all. So, next time you drive across a smooth road or see a snowplow clearing one, appreciate it. Public works are the backbone of what keeps our communities and quality of life thriving.
Do you love theater? Can't get enough of Broadway shows? Join Buffalo Toronto Public Media this January in New York City for Just in Time, Operation Mincemeat, Buena Vista Social Club, The Play That Goes Wrong, and The Queen of Versailles. Show tickets, hotel, travel, and select meals are included. Space is limited, so don't delay. January 19th through the 23rd. Visit btpm.org/travel.
Buffalo Toronto Public Media has new and innovative ways to generate revenue for your business. We have a robust menu of digital features that can help your business grow. Contact Bill Saurer at 716-845-7000.
Welcome back to the Rigidized Metals Corporation halftime show. Rigidized Metals Corporation, from the Buffalo Bills locker room to complete building exteriors. Rigidized Metals products are a marriage of beauty and utility. A scoring update from out of town. First, before we bring you back to football, in the baseball world, the Toronto Blue Jays just took a 3-0 lead over the LA Dodgers in the bottom of the third. A 3-run homer for Bo Bichette. 442 yards to dead center. He rocks Shohei Ohtani, and it's a 3-0 Blue Jays lead over the Dodgers. That's your scoring update in the bottom of the third in the World Series. Here at the high school football level, it's 22-7 St. Francis over Canisius in a Saturday special at the Monsignor Martin Athletics Association, final game of the regular season. This game to determine the number 1 seed in the Monsignor Martin playoffs. It's been all St. Francis so far. Canisius, a spark toward the end of the half, but the Red Raiders will get the ball to start the second in a few minutes. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you Jim, let's get over your objectives. Your first for Canisius offensively was to stretch the field.
Well, to try to do something to take pressure off the two. You knew they were going to try to stop the backs. They've done a good job, but they have not shown the ability to really stretch the field consistently to make them come away from stopping that run.
On the flip side, your defensive key for St. Francis was to force the grind.
Yes, both sides of the ball. Make them earn everything in this game. You just can't give up the big plays.
On the flip side, St. Francis offense, no interceptions.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. You know what you can do. Don't give up any easy plays in a game like this.
And for Canisius' defense, they have to make the St. Francis running backs earn their yards.
Same, and they have. These first down defense has been really the difference. St. Francis, I think, they've not given up chunk yards to Kimball at all.
Out of town scoreboard brought to you by DeUville University. Do you want to be unstoppable? We got you the Blue Jays score. That's certainly most pressing to most fans tuning in tonight. But around Western New York high school football, the game we had our eyes on in the Section 6 Class B playoffs was West Seneca East and Depew. Halftime, 56-16. The Trojans of West Seneca East, who we had on Friday Night Lights last week, in their loss to West Seneca West. How about this? Earlier today, West Seneca West loses to Williamsville East in the quarterfinal. West Seneca East is pounding Depew in the first half in their quarterfinal. Talk about a response from a rivalry loss.
And that's football, week to week. At every level, it really is. Week-to-week leagues, and it's what makes the sport special.
Anybody can beat anybody any week. We're seeing that tonight.
Cliche it up tonight. Let's just keep rolling with them.
St. Francis had won 6 of the last 7 meetings against Canisius. They lost last year basically to Elijah Kimball by himself. 5 rushing touchdowns for Kimball a year ago against St. Francis. The difference in that meeting, this is much more similar to the 6 years prior where St. Francis rolled past Canisius in pretty steady fashion. Craig Kruzanski looking to find something at halftime for the Crusaders, who are back out onto the field and stretching ahead of the second half. Jim, for Canisius, what can they do differently in this next half to help them stop St. Francis specifically on this first drive?
On this drive, and they've done it. Let's go right back to first down. Just keep winning those first downs. It's given you the chance. Even on that last drive, St. Francis had multiple third downs that they were trying to convert, where you could have got the ball back and flipped it, but they're making them earn everything. And I think this is Canisius just win up front like they have. And Buttles going to have to make some throws down the field.
Final few minutes of halftime tick away. We thank you for making Friday Night Lights Saturday Special a part of your Saturday evening, whether you're joining us on BTPM NPR or on the YouTube live stream online. Glad you could join us for the game of the year in the Monsignor Martin Athletic Association. 22-7, the lead for St. Francis over Canisius at halftime. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday Special. This has been the Rigidized Metals Corporation halftime show. Rigidized Metals Corporation, from the Buffalo Bills locker room to complete building exteriors. Rigidized Metals products are a marriage of beauty and utility.
They told you that your dreams were too big, that becoming a doctor was out of reach. But at DeUville University, we build unstoppable professionals. We're about getting you ready to dominate your field. It's time to stop dreaming and start achieving. Do you want to be unstoppable?
Well, it all comes down to this. 24 minutes for the number 1 seed in the Monsignor Martin Athletic Association. 22-7. St. Francis, the lead over Canisius. Jim, these Canisius Crusaders got the ball to start the game. They threw a pick on the first drive, and it was all St. Francis in the first quarter. 22-0 they led after 1. Canisius found a way to get on the board in the second quarter. 22-7 is the score. St. Francis to get the ball to start this second half. We expect a heavy dose of Tyrone Clark Jr.
You would think, but, for Canisius to come back from that just really disastrous start. I mean, you couldn't have started worse. Basically, your first 3 possessions, take your breath. You're down 2 scores. Everybody's been down 2 scores at halftime. It's okay. You have a chance to win. This first drive's big.
What were you down at halftime in the Super Bowl with New Orleans?
Don't remember the exact score because I had some other things going on at halftime that I needed to hydrate. But we onside kick for a reason, to change the game.
I'm gesturing to the field. Perhaps this a chance for Canisius?
I'm okay with that.
Especially a long delay here. The teams waiting lined up for the kick. The Denny's kickoff. Denny's, America's Diner, is always open. Hopwood and Clark.
High school halftimes are always open. They're half hours. They're half hour long.
At least there's no marching band here like we had at West Seneca a few weeks ago. 30-minute halftime, it felt like. for
NFL's 12. NFL's 12. We'll leave it at that.
Unless, again, like Super Bowl in 2009 or 2010, longer halftime then.
Good point. Super Bowls are longer.
All right, now we're ready for the Denny's kickoff. Max Barr to give it a ride for Canisius from right to left. The Crusaders, golden helmets, white uniforms, blue pants. St. Francis receiving to our left. The Denny's kickoff high in the air. Clark will let it bounce all the way to the end zone. The black uniforms of St. Francis beneath their golden helmets with the red and white stripe right down the middle will march out onto the field for the opening drive of the second half. St. Francis a 22-7 lead. Their last score came with 2:36 to go in the first quarter. Mostly Canisius in the second quarter of play. They had a long drive that ended in a touchdown halfway through the second quarter. From their own 20-yard line, St. Francis to begin the third quarter of play. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you for BTPM's Friday Night Lights, a Saturday special. Buttles in the gun, 1st and 10, far hash. It's a handoff for Clark on the near side, tucks the ball, right arm. He gets to the sideline, turns upfield at the 25, out of bounds at the 27-yard line. A good run for 7, untouched for Tyrone Clark.
Strong, nice job getting to the edge, showing his speed. He has an ability to really have a feel for playing off his blocks. I like his vision. He's got a good mix.
Clark stands 3 yards behind Trent Buttles in shotgun. Handoff Clark, left side, follows the left guard, falls forward toward the yard to gain. Again, some more pushing as the play comes to an end. Nothing doing there. Clark gets maybe 2 yards to set up 3rd and 2.
And we talked about this on that right before the half. They kept forcing St. Francis into plenty 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts, but can you get off the field?
Right to the line. Handoff, Clark, right side, spun at the line, breaks the tackle and has the first down. The lineman, Connor Gain, had him by the ankles behind the line, but Clark fights his way out of it and stumbles for the first down.
Gain did a great job of keep beating double team. Thought he was going to make the play of the game almost. Good blocking tight end, receiving tight end for them as well. Two-way player, almost made a play of the game.
1st and 10 for Buttles and St. Francis at the 37, or 32 rather. It's a run for Clark again, becoming the bell cow back for St. Francis with Dominic Cook Jr. injured and sidelined tonight. He gets 4 yards or so as Alex Bacon was slow to get up after the play. The right guard at 6'6", 260. A mountain of a man will walk to the near sideline now. Onto the field comes Romello Dunn, who you've liked so far defensively, Jim. 6'3", 330 to come in and replace.
No question. He's been a part of that D-line that's done a good job of making them earn those first down rushing yards.
A gain of 3 for Clark on first down, sets up 2nd and 7. Buttles takes the snap in shotgun, rolls to his right, chased out of the pocket. He throws on the run, and it's caught, but out of bounds. Unable to haul it in was Aiden Hopwood. Canisius' defense getting through up front to start this second half.
Nice job again by defensive end Connor Gain to kind of flush Buttles out, make a tough throw, an inaccurate throw. And here we go. We're going to keep saying it. 3rd down again.
3rd down. 7 to go at the 35 on their own side of the field. St. Francis in their all-black kits look to keep the first drive of the second half alive. Up 22-7. Buttles drops back to pass. Airs it out near side. Hopwood makes the grab at the 45 as he turns around. Check that. It's Mason Anderson who comes back to make the grab and move the sticks. A gain of 10 through the air for St. Francis.
The route running right there to break that route off and come back for the ball. I like the hands. That has some Stevie Johnson, the old Buffalo Bill I was thinking about when I saw that route. That's what made Stevie Johnson a special player. And that route was big time getting out of the break and finishing.
Trent Buttles in the gun for 1st and 10 at their own 45. Handoff Clark, patient behind the line, then takes off right sideline, up across the 50, down to the 48-yard line inside Canisius territory. A gain of 7 on 1st down for Tyrone Clark Jr. Had a couple of plays off. There's the burst of energy.
I mean, it's no secret who's getting the ball. Canisius is going to look back on this game. These third downs have just been tough at the end of the first half, and right now, third down defense is really what's been letting them down and to get themselves back, to get that momentum back.
Under 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. St. Francis with a 22-7 lead. Moving into Canisius territory. A timeout on the field for an injured Canisius Crusader with 9:49 to go in the third. 22-7 the St. Francis lead. If Trent Buttles had more size to him, I think you'd get a lot more conversation about him because he looks so poised, both in the pocket, out of the pocket, running, passing, whatever you want him to do. Just as a leader amongst the men of the team, he's so mature for a junior. It's just the fact that he's 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot in that range that he doesn't stand out as like a Matt Capon from Newfane at 6'4" and a dog of a quarterback.
And that's fair. I mean, the size is always going to, that could prevent you maybe from being the elite Division I, whatever recruit, high level. The height always separates you, but he is plenty big enough to win at a lot of levels. And his control of the game, to your point, it makes you feel good that they're not going to lose control of this game where he's going to just fall apart and have meltdowns, Carson Wentz style.
Trent Buttles had a terrific summer this year, playing with the 7-on-7 team that Coach Lee Benke runs from Rochester. His wide receiver for that 7-on-7 team, his go-to target, is Messiah Hampton at Monroe High School, committed to go to Oregon. Shows you how good he is, and that 7-on-7 team must be. But it was Trent Buttles who won the MVP at the Under Armour Next football camp. Buttles showed out and got a lot of his offers and interest from the collegiate level due to his summer before his junior year. 2nd and 3, Buttles read option, handoff Clark, right side, breaks 2 tackles. The ball comes out, but it rolls out of bounds. Oh, Kimball punched it out for Canisius. Clark let go of it, but luckily for St. Francis, it careens to their own sideline and out of play. 1st down, St. Francis.
I just love the fact that Kimball was able to get in on there and strip that thing. I mean, that is a big-time play. These guys are doing whatever they can right now to find a way, but they can't get off the field.
1st and 10, St. Francis at the 38-yard line. Run to the right side. Clark hangs onto it tightly this time as 3 Canisius Crusaders come over to make the tackle, including Caden Wayne. We've got his name circled on our spotting boards for this second half. Number 46 in white at linebacker stops the run after a gain of 4. Inside the 35-yard line, St. Francis goes. And they're moving quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Buttles in the gun. Matt Zielinski in motion. Tight formation. Buttles tucks it, takes it right side. Burst of speed. Gets to the sideline at the 25, and he runs out of bounds untouched. At the 25-yard line, it's a 1st down after a pickup of 7 for St. Francis. 8:47 to go in the third.
He showed a burst to get that corner and then finish with positive yards. They have plenty of good run designs for Buttles. They know his skill set.
Buttles handoff. Clark finds a hole left side, gets across the 20 and down to the 18-yard line. Tyrone Clark Jr. from Lackawanna has been terrific this evening and continues to get more than 5 yards a carry.
The downhill physical style from him will wear you down, too. He does not let up.
Timeout Canisius, their first of the half, wanting to stop the bleeding. Down 22-7, 8.5 to play in the third quarter. Canisius the lead over St. Francis. Just as simple as that. Slow down, take a breath for this timeout.
Yeah, I think so, because this, we talk about how important this drive was. St. Francis knows it too, and they've come out once again and kind of enforced their dominance, just like they did in the first quarter.
If you missed it, at halftime, we let you know the scoring update from up north. The Toronto Blue Jays with the lead over the LA Dodgers. A 3-run home run from Bo Bichette. But in the top of the fourth, the Dodgers respond with 1 run. A sac fly from Hernandez scores Smith. 3-1. The Blue Jays lead the Dodgers in the middle of the fourth. That's up north in Game 7 of the Fall Classic. 8:32 to go here at the high school football level. St. Francis looking to clinch the #1 seed in the Monsignor Martin Athletic Association playoffs. Canisius coming off the Monsignor Martin Championship last year. They need a stop and in a hurry. 2nd down and 3 for St. Francis at the 18. Second and 3, Buttles. Great ball movement. Fakes, takes it himself up the middle, and he falls forward to the 15-yard line, right at the line. That was terrific. Looked like a point guard, Buttles did.
And that's what I was going to say. The body control is incredible. In traffic, he's always instinctive to find those extra yards. Really natural runner.
He looked to his left, faked the give to Clark, turned back to his right, faked a pitch, and took off all in the matter of 3 seconds. Looked like he could have been on Dancing with the Stars with that kind of move.
Very
and then
smooth.
Still found enough space to run for right near the first down marker. But a face mask at the end of the run against Canisius will clearly give St. Francis the first down and more. Marching toward the end zone to our right. You watched Dancing with the Stars at all, Jim?
Got into it a little bit a long time ago. Wore out.
Wore out?
Yeah, it had a shelf life for me. I just felt like it kind of had a shelf life for me.
Yeah.
Good. I need big names sometimes.
Yeah.
I need A to, or I could go B to C list. I think we dip below C sometimes on those shows.
That's fair. First and goal for St. Francis at the 8-yard line. Tyrone Clark gets the handoff left side, met in the hole by Canisius' linebackers, and the freshman, Shuford, makes the stop. Minimal gain, if any, for Clark. This is where you don't want to get too cute if you're St. Francis. Into the game comes the hard-nosed running back, Landon Hardy III. Cook remains on the field as well. Hardy lines up as a fullback. Buttles under center for 2nd and goal from the 8. Handoff, Clark up the middle. He's pushed back by Canisius. Brock Blildfell pushes him back at the 5. 3rd down and goal for St. Francis. A big stop for Canisius.
Yeah, and they know this is it. I think they're playing like it is. And we're going to say that might be a little dramatic, but in my eyes, they can't allow a touchdown here.
Buttles under center. Handoff, Clark cuts to his left. Bodies push forward. Comes down to the spot near the goal line. He's down at the 1. Tyrone Clark Jr. knocking on the door for what could have been his 3rd score of the night. Quickly, St. Francis gets to the line, and they bring out an extra offensive lineman. Oh, now it's a late substitution as one O-lineman has to get off the field for St. Francis. Buttles waits for him to jog off and gets under center. Tries to push the bodies forward. He's hit from behind at the 1 on 4th and goal. Canisius gets the stop. Trent Buttles tried to push the bodies forward, but the D-line of Canisius pushed right back. Canisius turns over the football against St. Francis at the 1-yard line. What a stop for the Crusader defense.
But I don't understand. I've never seen a short yardage play with substitutions up front on that type of play. I feel like he did that to himself again. You took timeouts against yourself. You were rolling. That should have just been a very rhythm line up and run the ball to Clark or sneak it with Buttles. And whenever you have that type of confusion and a substitution, everybody pauses. You're almost, seriously, this big of a play, you should have just taken a timeout. Because that was too easy as a touchdown to give up like that. it really was going to win the game for you. The game was over. That was a timeout type thing. You've now let Canisius have a breath of have a chance. They really do. They have light.
And that, again, comes down to the size of Trent Buttles. If he was 6'5", then he could push the bodies forward. But standing at 5'10", 5'11", he's not able to move the 6'4" center Willie Wortketter to move into the end zone.
We need answers. I know why was there a substitute? Why was that substitution? Why did that happen?
Meanwhile, Jabez Caldwell, the nose guard for Canisius, was down with an injury, so he's out for left guard for this play for 1st and 10 at their own 1 in their own end zone. Brusso moving right to left for Canisius. Hard count, no bite, handoff Kimball. Right side, tries to push the bodies forward, gets to the 5-yard line and is dragged down there. Hit from behind by the St. Francis cornerback who came in to replace Dominic Cook. Samuel Skulski makes the stop. And another injury for Canisius at the 5-yard line. Another offensive lineman is down. Just as Caldwell went down a play prior, another O-lineman for Canisius lies at the 5, and the clock stops with 6:31 to go in the third. 22-7, St. Francis the lead over Canisius. The Crusaders get a turnover on downs at their own 1-yard line as they stop Trent Buttles from his second touchdown of the night.
No, we're going to have to pay attention here how this moving forward. This type of injury up front, for a team that is relying on running the ball right now, that can always hurt. But as long as those two backs are healthy, this is going to be the drive of the game, I think, for Canisius. I think we could feel free to say that. They got to get some points here.
But these injuries to the offensive line make a big difference.
No question. And the running backs know that, too. It's like you see that as a running back. You're like, Like you always you look at each other like, ooh, come on now. I need you, big fella. I need you.
For Canisius, it is their right guard, Owen Scott, who goes down. He walks off under his own power.
Yeah, I like that.
Back-to-back plays, Caldwell and Scott go down with injuries. But good news, Caldwell back onto the field for 2nd down and 5 after the gain of 5. At the 5-yard line. Well, 2nd and 7 from the 5. Russo in the gun. Handoff Kimball. Pushes off of one body. Then check that. It's Hernandez who got the handoff there. He gets 5 yards. Well, make it enough. He gets the 7. 1st down, Canisius. That was a nifty run from Hernandez.
He has that vision in traffic like that with his agility and quickness. Quicker than fast type back, but strong. Both backs always finish forward. Both backs finish forward. And St. Francis hits. This is a physical game, both sides.
Canisius looks to move further down the field. 1st and 10 from their own 15. Ball's down at the snap. Russo falls on it. A low snap from Gabriel Oliveira, the center. Good for Brusso to fall on it for Canisius and limit the damage on the play.
Trent Buttles just got absolutely kind of leveled as a safety on his back. That's why I was kind of staring to see what happened there. I'm like, that's your franchise quarterback kind of getting
It was the left tackle, Brock Bildfell, who came out and punished Buttles away from the play.
Downfield again. We talk about tackles downfield. That's a good player. That's a good football player. But, man, that's your quarterback right there going down.
Loss of 2 on the fumble for Canisius. Russo recovers it. 2nd and 12. Throw to the far side. Hernandez catches it out of the backfield to the 20. He jolts past one tackle and gets down to set up 3rd down and medium distance for Canisius. Under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. This is a gotta-have-it drive for the Crusaders.
Yeah, you don't even need to think about punts. I don't care where you're at in the field. Punts are not an option.
Canisius down 22-0 after 1 quarter, scored the only touchdown in the 2nd quarter, and they get a stop against St. Francis's offense to start the 2nd half. Brusso in shotgun. Handoff to the 3rd running back. This is Shuford. TJ Shuford, the linebacker running back, gets the carry, and he gets the 1st down up to the 25-yard line. And yet another injured Crusader lies down at the end of the run. I'm curious why Kimball hasn't been in the game these last couple plays. Shuford is now down with an injury.
And that's a good thing to wonder, because I'm sitting there jaw dropped on a third down on one of the biggest plays of the game, and it's not Hernandez or Kimball getting the ball.
Something's up.
I would think.
Kimball is up and on the sideline for Canisius. He's even in the huddle with the offense right now as Shuford gets looked at. Friday Night Lights on BTPM. Their Saturday special is presented by Villa Maria College. College isn't about having it all figured out. It's about inventing who you're going to become. Friday Night Lights, supported by our members and by Rigidized Metals Corporation. From the Buffalo Bills locker room to complete building exteriors, Rigidized Metals products are a marriage of beauty and utility. And by DeUville University, do you want to be unstoppable? And by Mr. Goodbar, your home for watching sports on Elmwood Avenue. And by Brighton Liquor and Wine at 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. And by Monsignor Martin Athletics. Just past 9:30 local time in western New York, just off the shore of Lake Erie. Up north in Toronto, the Blue Jays, 2 runners on, up 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th with 1 out. The Blue Jays looking to win the World Series tonight in Game 7. Thanks for joining us wherever you may be and making Friday Night Lights Saturday special a part of your weekend. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you from Athol Springs, New York. St. Francis looking to end Canisius' dominance in Monsignor Martin play. Both teams 2-0 in league play this season. The Red Raiders are 7-1 overall. Canisius 5-3. Russo in the gun for 1st and 10 at the 25. He hands it off. Hernandez right side has the first down. Gets to the sideline, out of bounds across the 35. First down, Canisius. Number 1 in white sprints away from trouble.
Still didn't see Kimball, but we have a player with a helmet off. Brock Bildfell again. Helmet gets ripped off. There's a lot going on the field between both teams right now.
I like Brock Bildfell.
Football,
He's a tough guy.
Tough guy. Once again, where's Kimball?
Yeah, it's a curious case. Elijah Kimball hasn't been on the field since the first 2 plays of this drive. Now he's back out there.
Okay.
In the huddle at the 30-yard line. Canisius moving right to left across your radio dial at the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for Canisius. They're well away from their own end zone where the drive started at their own 2-yard line. After the turnover on downs, they forced to start the half. 1st and 10 at the 38 for Canisius. Handoff to the fullback, and that goes nowhere. Xavier Gates Franklin gets smothered behind the line. St. Francis's defensive line swarmed to the football. Again, Kimball didn't touch the ball on 1st and 10. It's a loss of 1.
No, a different style right now. I'm surprised. I don't know if they're trying to gear up here, but they need to put together a little bit of a drive. There is some time, too. You need to throw the ball down the field, do something down the field.
And now Kimball's out of the game again. I wonder if something's going on with Elijah Kimball right now. This is a gotta-have-it drive. We can't say that enough.
No, so it's Hernandez time now because the passing game hasn't been anything that you would be threatened by.
Amir Hernandez came into tonight averaging 9 yards a carry. 2nd and 11 for Canisius. Brusso, handoff Hernandez, right side, has the hole, gets met at the 45 and stood up. He falls forward. Trent Buttles just got low and hit him hard, stopped him in his tracks. It's still a gain of 8.
Couldn't see who made that hit, and I was smiling, hoping it was Buttles, because it just goes to show you, a football player, physical. You saw Hernandez's head go pop up in the air a little bit. But there's just a different, Kimball just brings such a different flair to his game.
There's a train passing by beyond the scoreboard across the field. They're wailing on the horn before 3rd down and 3. The run for Canisius gets 1st down. Across midfield. The run for the Crusaders down to the 47-yard line. There is Elijah Kimball. The train horn, nothing to stop the Canisius offense.
And that really...
Quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Direct snap, Kimball. He takes off as a flag flies at the snap. Kimball still in the air, and then again, more pushing after the play. from St. Francis, who just knocked Jason Love onto the turf. And a late flag well after the play just came flying out. The Crusaders still down on the field, and it's another offensive lineman, but he's now popped back up. Big number 78, the right tackle, Dylan Gorney at 6'6", 230 for Canisius. He's back up on his feet.
I really feel like all night, the direct snaps, whether it's Kimball or Hernandez, is the way to go. The Wildcat with Kimball and Hernandez, I'm not trying to take away from Brusco, but it's right now that rhythm and tempo with those two I'd like to see. I mean, direct snap messing with those two, your two best players right now. It'd be different if you showed any ability to throw the ball down the field. They just haven't.
Yeah, Brusco hasn't aired it out once completely outside of the end of the first half when he threw the pick.
Doesn't count.
And it doesn't count. But, again, their first throw of the game, Amos picked off for St. Francis downfield. So in the books, it's 2 interceptions on Brusco, and you're right. With the 2 speedsters in the backfield, you may as well run with the Wildcat from here on out.
And they've had success with it. The flow of this game has been not necessarily ideal.
Kind of like those train tracks back there. Chugging. We're slowly chugging along.
Don't trains go a little faster?
I guess downhill.
I like that. That's fair.
We are going uphill
Good
so
point.
far in this second half.
We are certainly uphill right now.
2:03 to go in this third quarter.
I mean, we are stopped.
A lot of penalty flags came out on that play, and there's a lot to be sorted out within the personal fouls. I thought you might have tossed a flag from up here, Jim, just to throw your own hat in the mix.
I could have, if I kept my official's costume from my son's Southtowns Catholic shout out. Friday cafeteria duty, I had to wear my official's costume for Halloween.
You were handing out offsides.
A lot of penalties.
I'd get in there and start hard counting. Hut, hut.
I thought about flagging myself.
Bad ladle.
Questionable decision making. Penalty for decision making.
So out of all the flags that came out on that play, personal foul against Canisius is what will stand, and it'll back up the Crusaders all the way to their own 43-yard line. They've got to get to the St. Francis 38. First down and a long 20 yards for Canisius. Brusco looking to pass, steps to his right, gets past the line of scrimmage, and then gets hit out of bounds to the 45-yard line. A gain of just 2, not what Canisius drew up.
It wasn't. They did draw up this, though. They were trying to double move to Noah Harrison. A nice job by St. Francis at the top. They were ready for it. They were trying to take a shot down the field, though.
Caden Wright, the cornerback in coverage. Trent Buttles over the top as well. 1:43 to go in the third, 22-7. Canisius trails St. Francis. They got the stop out of halftime, now looking to score to make it a one-score game. Kimball and Hernandez in the backfield. It's a snap to Hernandez. He goes right up the middle for 4 yards toward midfield. It'll set up a 3rd down and 14 from their own 49. This is where you almost desperately need to throw the ball, do you think?
I would if you didn't have Kimball. I'm almost, this is your game of the year. I know it's not the season on the line, but this is for seeding and all that. Give Kimball the ball 2 times here on these next 2 downs to get a first down. Kimball, you tell me he can't get 13 yards? The guy
averaging 10 a carry.
I mean, let's give it a shot. I mean, we're talking about your superstar Ohio State back. I'm a big believer in giving your best players the ball.
Not committed yet, but Ohio State's big on him. 3rd down and 14. Fake of the give to Kimball. Brusco airs it out, middle of the field, well down the field. It is incomplete. No flags. Looking for Noah Harrison. He was double-teamed at the 15-yard line. Brusco gave him a chance to make the play. It was a hair off the mark. 4th and long for Canisius.
Great job up front to have the time to let it fly. And St. Francis, 2 defenders back there. He put it out there. That's how you got to throw it deep. And nice job by St. Francis to have that deep coverage.
Now, the Crusaders line up to punt.
Well, when you don't give the ball to Kimball on that play, you leave yourself a 4th and 13. Got to punt.
Be aware, though, Hernandez is the up man. Nope, it's a clean snap to the punter. Booted away by Lucas Bonilla all the way to the St. Francis 12-yard line, out of bounds there. That's a terrific punt from Bonilla, all things considered. About a 38-yard punt for Bonilla, pins them back at their own 13. 41 seconds to go in the third quarter, 22-7. St. Francis the lead, and they get the football after forcing the 6.5-minute drive to end in a punt for the Crusaders.
No, disappointing for Canisius, but at least they did move the ball to get them out. I mean, they were at the 1-yard line, so nice job getting out of danger. Now can you find a way to get another stop? I mean, you're still in this game. It's a 2-score game, as crazy as that sounds after the way this thing started. And Kimball hasn't gotten off. So you're down 2 scores, and your superstar hasn't really done anything.
Trent Buttles has been a superstar for St. Francis. So is Tyrone Clark Jr. Buttles with a touchdown, opened the game, 75-yard run. Clark a 65-yard touchdown run the following drive. And then Clark scored the other one, a 4-yard touchdown, their third drive of the game. That's been all the scoring for St. Francis. 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. It's a run for Clark. He gets a couple, and the clock gets down to 30 seconds to go in the quarter. St. Francis can take this one to the break.
If they're smart, they will.
Jerry
Makes no
Smith,
sense to run us.
St. Francis walks over to their sideline. That'll do it for the first 3 quarters of the game. Canisius felt like they had the gotta-have-it drive. They were moving with pace. A personal foul backs them up behind the sticks, killed the momentum. They're forced to punt before the end of the third quarter, and St. Francis can put the nail in the coffin with this drive as we begin the fourth quarter after this on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday Special, presented by Villa Maria College.
Visit Villa Maria College and discover what it means to be a Viking. Come see the energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
BTPM's Friday Night Lights, in partnership with Section 6, is presented by Villa Maria College, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York. Friday Night Lights is supported by our members and by the WNED Foundation Incorporated. Mr. Goodbar, your headquarters for watching away games on Elmwood Avenue. Denny's, America's Diner is always open. Brighton Liquor and Wine, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. And by SEI. SEI proudly supports the WNED Foundation.
Do you love theater? Can't get enough of Broadway shows? Join Buffalo Toronto Public Media this January in New York City for Just in Time, Operation Mincemeat, Buena Vista Social Club, The Play That Goes Wrong, and The Queen of Versailles. Show tickets, hotel, travel, and select meals are included. Space is limited, so don't delay. January 19th through the 23rd. Visit btpm.org/travel.
Each month, BTPM Classical brings the music off the airwaves and onto the stage. Our live on-stage concerts feature world-class performances and intimate conversations with the artists, all for free at Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Sign up for the next concert at btpm.org/events and watch previous performances on the BTPM YouTube channel.
Friday Night Lights reaches parents, grandparents, and students. Your message?
Second down, 5 to go for St. Francis to start the fourth quarter. False start against the Red Raiders will back them up to their own 13-yard line. Jack Kreuzer, Jim Monos with you on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday Special, presented by Villa Maria College. Second down and 11. Buttles takes off, left side, runs right into a linebacker and runs out of bounds. He just stood up. Caden Wayne at the sideline acted like it was no problem for the 6-foot, 190-pound quarterback.
No, and Wayne's physical. We've seen Caden Wayne come downhill, and that was a stalemate. I mean, they both were physical, but Buttles just goes in right away. You would think on a linebacker, maybe go out of bounds. I mean, that was just head up.
I would not expect stalemate.
Head up, stalemate.
Now a big third down for the Canisius defense. 3rd and 5 at the 19. St. Francis with two receivers to the right and the left. Buttles takes the shotgun snap, throw to the near side. It's caught by Hopwood down the sideline. He has the first down. Aiden Hopwood, the grab for St. Francis to the 33-yard line.
Outstanding throw. Buttles just showing everything that he can do. Absolutely accurate strike in stride down the sideline.
Just a simple go route?
Simple go route.
1st and 10, St. Francis. At the 32, 33-yard line. Buttles fakes the give, takes it right side. He gets hit at the line of scrimmage. Falls forward, gain of about 4 for Trent Buttles, who has impressed all night since his 75-yard rushing touchdown to start the game back in the first quarter. That was an 8-0 lead for St. Francis. They haven't looked back since. 22-7, they lead Canisius, 10.5 to go in the game. Winner gets the top seed in the Monsignor Martin playoffs and the right to host the championship if they win the quarterfinal or the semifinal matchup. Two receivers on the right. Buttles fakes the give, keeps it right side, tucks it and takes off. A flag back at the line of scrimmage as the Canisius defensive end, Brock Bildfell, was held down behind the play, and the run for Buttles likely to be negated here. St. Francis finds out about the call, and a couple of frustrated Red Raiders. As much as it was a gotta-have-it drive for Canisius before this, and they punted, is this not equally as important for St. Francis?
Yeah, maybe not as equal because you have the 2-score lead. What they're doing is just don't do 3 and outs. No 3 and outs are big, and they're doing that. They're moving the ball, taking up clock. They're answering the bell.
St. Francis has won 6 of the last 7 meetings against Canisius. They lost last year, and it cost them. They ended up losing to St. Joe's in the semifinal. In the playoffs, Canisius would beat St. Joe's in the championship. They would fall in the state title game a week later. St. Francis hasn't had a state title in their program's history. This could be the year. Buttles in the gun for 2nd down and 20. Rolls to his right, being chased, cuts back to his left, still able to throw, zips it over the field to the near sideline, out of bounds, incomplete pass. Hopwood was with him. Aiden Hopwood from Depew, New York, a difference maker downfield. We're going to see Mahomes and Allen do this a lot tomorrow, but Buttles, the improvisational factor.
The best part, but Buttles, they were trying to get a shot down the field. Good job by Canisius defense. Buttles scrambles out of the pocket after the initial deep threat wasn't there, tries to torque his body and make a heck of an NFL-type throw. Kimball with good coverage, just good coverage, tough throw, incomplete. A lot of athleticism made on that play by some good players.
All Division I products you just mentioned. 3rd down and 20 for St. Francis. Buttles drops back to pass from his own 22-yard line. He takes off and runs, and he breaks one tackle. Then he's wrapped up by Shuford at the 33-yard line. A terrific open field tackle for the freshman linebacker from Canisius.
We're going to remember that play. If Canisius can come back in this game, we are going to remember that play. That tackle is huge. Huge if they come back in this game.
He just saved that from being a 1st down run for Buttles, and now an injured St. Francis Red Raider is down behind the plate, and it's Trent Buttles. He got hit hard, and he's hunched over and kneeling at his own 20-yard line, and now away from the field on the sideline, Bray Babbage, the sophomore backup quarterback, is up and tossing the football for St. Francis, the son of Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator Bobby Babbage. He's tossing the football and might have to come in for a play.
Well, he'll be ready. Coach's sons, backup quarterbacks kind of fit the mold.
This is a tough break for St. Francis. Even if Buttles is out for a play, I guess you could punt in this situation. It's 4th down and 11 from your own 32. But even moving forward, if Buttles was hurt more seriously than it looks, this is dangerous. likely, well, the St. Francis broke the huddle, and now they're walking back to Jerry Smith on the near sideline. Canisius is lined up for punt return. Elijah Kimball is back to receive the punt. He's standing right at the 50-yard line. That's just 15 yards downfield from the line of scrimmage. Buttles is back onto the field for St. Francis, and Canisius adjusts the defense. St. Francis looking to produce the knockout blow. 4th down and 12. Now Buttles backs up a few yards. He may punt. The Canisius safeties back up. They've still got to be aware of a play here from Buttles. He takes the snap and does stand and deliver a great punt that hits at the 35 and takes a Canisius spin back to the 35. It's downed there by Harrison of Canisius. Noah Harrison gets on it, and the Crusaders dodge a bullet. St. Francis unable to convert that drive after Canisius stalled out. This is still plenty of time left. 9:22 to go in the 4th. Down 22-7 for the Crusaders, starting at their own 35.
It's just hard to picture this happening right now for Canisius without any ability to complete a pass down the field. At some point, we have to see that. Now, they've shown ability to try it right now, so that's good.
Just their second drive of the half. Canisius down 22-7. Haven't scored since the second quarter. Kimball, handoff, first play of the drive. Up the left side, he gets 5 and 7. Then he gets stood up and pushed all the way back by the St. Francis linebacker. I believe it was Luke Fleischman who made the tackle for the Red Raiders. Kimball gets a solid 5 yards on first down and then some. Make it a 7-yard gain for Kimball. 2nd down and 3. Right down the middle of the field between the hashes. Brousseau in the gun. Handoff Kimball, left side. Pushes off a defender with one arm. He gets to the 50 and he's tripped up. Elijah Kimball has the first down for Canisius, moving up to the 49-yard line.
This goes back to that last drive they had when it was 3rd and 13, and I said, you can give Kimball the ball twice if you want right now. You just showed it. This is 8, 10 yards a carry.
Kimball has been well rested. He's barely touched the ball this half. 8:30 to go in the game, down 2 scores. Kimball, make it Hernandez, who takes the direct snap. Dances in the backfield, turns upfield, and keeps moving forward with Bildfell moving the bodies ahead. The play ends up with Bildfell on top of Hernandez and a first down for Canisius. That was the old dolly move. The lineman just dollied Hernandez and carried him all the way across for the first down. And Canisius right back to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 at the St. Francis 40. Handoff Kimball. He runs into his own lineman and then gets hit behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 2. And a flag flies well after the play. Hernandez was having a conversation on the far side of the field. We've seen penalties affect both offenses in this second half and force back-to-back punts on the last 2 drives. And the Canisius Crusaders are backing up. A personal foul. No, it's against St. Francis and one on Canisius, so they will offset. That was some theatrics from our official tonight.
Well, you were misled by Canisius. It looked like they had been told, hey, you're going to be going back, right? That's fair.
It's like Savannah Bananas work right there. Keep the flair involved. 2nd down, 10 to go after no gain from Kimball on that last run. Kimball remains the back. Hand off to him. Oh, and a reverse near side. Up the field goes Merkel Hunt. Merkel Hunt stopped just before the 35-yard line. He's down. Check that, at the 41, he's down. Minimal gain. Tyrone Clark came up and just stood up Hunt. A nifty play from the Crusaders. Nothing doing. Clark grabs him with 2 arms and hauls him down.
Not surprised he was a physical tackler as well on defense as a running back, too. He shows that style.
Massive play for the Crusaders with 7:16 to go in the game. 3rd down and 11. From the St. Francis 41, down 2 scores. Handoff Kimball. He has the whole left side. Elijah Kimball takes off down the sideline. Down to the 20 to the 15. Kimball spins his way down to the 10-yard line. There's the burst from Elijah Kimball. First down, Crusaders.
And it's just hard to believe that that's the first big play we've seen midway through the third quarter with that type of acceleration and bounce. Once again, he showed good patience. It was kind of a counter. They pulled some guard tackles. He gets on him, and then he explodes.
Less than 7 minutes to go in the game. The Crusaders trail the Red Raiders 22-7. Canisius knocking on the door at the red zone. At the 10-yard line, it's a run for Kimball up the left side of the line. He pushes forward. The bodies meet him at the 5 and move him back to stop forward progress. A run for about 5 yards. Second down, mid-distance to go. No worry about time here, but Canisius did use one timeout earlier this half. Just something to keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and it's important to know. And right now they look, this is great. To score.
Second down, 5 to go at the 7-yard line for Canisius. This drive started at their own 35 7 minutes ago. Hernandez, left side, touchdown! Amir Hernandez finds pay dirt for the Crusaders. Canisius makes it 22-13, awaiting the extra point with 6:12 to go in the fourth.
We talked about it all game, that Wildcat has been a nice way for them to run the ball. Right, direct snap right to Hernandez. That was step one.
The extra point is step 2 to make it a one-score game. Lined up to kick to the end zone to our right, just off Lake Erie. The winds play no effect. The kick is good for Nathaniel Lidstrom. Second string kicker Lidstrom knocks it through for Canisius.
In an underrated hold by Nathaniel Lindstrom.
He had the kick.
Who was the holder then?
Great call.
Sorry, I saw 17. That was my mistake, Jack. I was roster searching instead of looking. I need to see who made that hold, though. That hold was great. That was a bad snap. It would have ruined the game.
6:12 to go in the fourth quarter. One-score game, 22-14. Canisius trails St. Francis on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday special, presented by Villa Maria College. A great drive for Canisius. Elijah Kimball, the big play, 30-yard gain on the ground.
I think we thought we were going to see a lot of that tonight. I know I was. So it was good to see that eventually. You could see why he's so special. And it gives you an appreciation of how good St. Francis' defense has played to think they could hold him until halfway through the third quarter on a play like that.
That's the first score since the middle of the second quarter. Canisius makes it 22-14. It was a long time between scores, but back-to-back no less. Canisius now will set for the Denny's kickoff. Denny's, America's Diner, is always open at their own 40-yard line. St. Francis to receive the kick near the end zone to our right. Hopwood and Clark deep to receive. A booming kick into the end zone for Canisius. A terrific kick from Max Barr. The kicking game for the Crusaders found some life in the middle of that first half. They haven't looked back.
Not a lot of high schools have kickoff specialists, extra point specialists, punt specialists.
You're listening to BTPM NPR, WBFO and WBFO HD1 Buffalo, WUBJ Jamestown, and WOLN Olean, a service of Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you on BTPM's Friday Night Lights, a Saturday special presented by Villa Maria College. 6:12 to go in the fourth quarter of the final game of the Monsignor Martin regular season. The winner gets the 1 seed in the playoffs. Buttles in the gun for 1st and 10 at the 20. Handoff near side. Clark cuts inside at the hashes. He gets tripped up after a gain of 4. Tyrone Clark Jr., the bell cow back tonight, hasn't lost any steam.
Good tackle by Canisius there. Just, hey, 3 yards is outstanding. I like that run, too. He's so hard to tackle because he's so downhill and physical and runs through arm tackles. Making him slow down early is key.
St. Francis, they haven't scored since the first quarter. They've started every drive since at least their own 20-yard line, if not further back. Second down, 6 to go after the run of 4 from Clark. It's a give to him again. This time up the middle. The dive gets maybe 2 yards to set up third down and short for St. Francis. 5.5 to go in the fourth quarter. 22-14 the lead for St. Francis. Canisius, the defending Monsignor Martin champions, looking to claim the 1 seed, but they need a stop at 8 points to boot. Third down. 3 to go for St. Francis at their own 27. Buttles hands it off. Clark, the Canisius bodies meet him in the hole, and the Crusaders push the pile back. Stopped at the 29-yard line. 4th and 1, St. Francis.
Nice job up front, Canisius D-line. Connor Gain was in there mixing it up. They're running right at him. And TJ Shufford, who did a nice job 2 plays before to make a play. Those guys are holding up against the St. Francis line.
An injury timeout for a St. Francis Red Raider down near the numbers on the St. Francis side of the field. We'll take a quick break on BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday special. This drive for St. Francis at a crucial moment, 4th and 1 with 4:45 to go in the fourth. Up 22-14 are the Red Raiders. We'll be back after this.
To be a Viking, come see the energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
Listen to BTPM Classical wherever you are on the BTPM Listen app. Find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Listen to BTPM NPR wherever you are on the BTPM Listen app. Find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Listen to Buffalo Toronto Public Media The Bridge wherever you are. Search for the BTPM Listen app on all your devices.
Buffalo Toronto Public Media has new and innovative ways to generate revenue for your business. We have a robust menu of digital features that can help your business grow.
4th down and 1 for St. Francis at their own 29-yard line. Buttles takes the snap, stutters at the line, dives ahead across the 30. He's got the first down. Trent Buttles with the juke of the decade and found the hole on the right side of the line to dive for 2 yards.
I mean, he paused and stalled on after the snap. That's the opposite of what you want to do on a short yardage play. They just couldn't get off blocks. I think St. Francis got a little lucky right there. I've never seen a short yardage play where you just pause like that. You're lucky nobody came through.
And he went right at Caden Wayne. That was his decision. And
yeah,
it
nice
rewarded
job
him.
up front. No, they did a good job up front.
1st and 10, St. Francis at their own 31-yard line. Buttles in the gun, clock under 4 minutes to go. Low snap, handoff. Clark met at the line, maybe 2 yards on the run. Shuford is there again. Boy, for the roller coaster of a first half that Shuford had, biting on a hard count on a 4th down to give St. Francis an easy first, and then a couple big tackles defensively, a run offensively. He's been steady in the second half. That's great poise for just a freshman.
See, and that's the theme of our last couple of weeks, Jack. We've seen some really good freshmen step up, especially on defense.
Oh, Western New York high school football is in tremendous hands.
Because we're calling the games?
It might be you, Jim.
We.
Tyrone Clark taken out of the game for 2nd down and 9. Oh, check that. He's out there, but a timeout before the snap anyway. It's called by St. Francis, their first timeout of the fourth quarter. 3:18 to go in the fourth, 22-14. The Red Raiders the lead. 2nd down and 9 coming up in just a moment. Let's recap the scoring for you. It was the first drive of the game. Canisius had an interception after starting at their own 10-yard line, went all the way down inside St. Francis territory, picked off at the 16-yard line. St. Francis, 3 plays later, Trent Buttles, 75-yard touchdown run, 8-0 St. Francis after they went for a fake kick and got it, an 8-0 lead. Clark got the ball after a Canisius punt for St. Francis just a couple of plays later for the Red Raiders, 65 yards. for St. Francis, touchdown to go up 15-0. That was halfway through the first quarter. Then 2 minutes later, after fumble recovery on the kickoff for the Red Raiders, after that Clark score, they drive down and Clark caps off the drive with a 4-yard rushing touchdown with 2:36 to go in the first. That made it 22-0. In the second quarter, 6:51 to play in the second. Kimball capped off a 2-yard score for Canisius, making it 22-7. Then on the last drive, it was Hernandez with the touchdown for Canisius, a 7-yard run, making it 22-14. Second down and 9 for St. Francis. Handoff Clark, right side, burst of speed. He gets boomed, stays on his feet somehow. Across the 50 goes Clark, down to the 48-yard line of Canisius. How did Clark stay on his feet through 3 tacklers at the 40-yard line? I have no idea.
Is there a the NFL Network Angry Run segment was just this. I don't know how all 3 guys fall down, but all 3 fall trying to make the tackle, and his strength and power, almost like they fall over him because they thought they were all trying to make the play. Sometimes all the hustle hurts.
First down and 10 for St. Francis, under 3 minutes to go. They want to kill the clock here. First and 10 at the Canisius 48. Pitch near side. Clark turns upfield at the hashes. He gets tripped up by Hernandez after a gain of 2, and a flag well after the play, and Canisius is upset. The flag came out well after the run of Tyrone Clark. Dominic Cook Jr. unavailable tonight with an injury for St. Francis. Cook has been fantastic. Or check that, Clark has been fantastic. I beg your pardon. St. Francis claps as this flag brings about a meeting at midfield between the officials. 2:29 to go in the fourth. 22-14, St. Francis the lead over Canisius. The standing room only crowd starts to filter out with some fans heading to the exits with a personal foul against Canisius. St. Francis just a couple first downs away from ending this one.
And the way Tyrone Clark's running the ball right now, it's hard to think anything else.
Elijah Kimball did force a fumble in the first half on Clark, and it was lucky for St. Francis that it rolled out of bounds.
Yeah, Clark never thought Kimball was like from behind like that, had that reach and ability to get it. He thought he was looking behind or ahead of him, thinking he might, protecting the ball. That caught him off guard. Great effort by Kimball.
After the penalty yardage is marked off. Those 15 yards, brutal for Canisius' defense. First and 10 for St. Francis at the 31-yard line of the Crusaders. Buttle in shotgun with 2:20 to go in the fourth. Trent Buttles, the junior quarterback for the Red Raiders. The touchdown to open the game, 75 yards on the first drive. Explosive, and St. Francis really hasn't felt out of the driver's seat since that moment.
Well said.
Handoff Clark, near side, stays on his feet, across the 20. He stays in bounds as he goes down. First down, St. Francis with under 2 minutes to go in the game, and now it feels inevitable. 22-14, St. Francis the lead. Canisius does have 2 timeouts remaining, but this may be it. St. Francis with a mighty first quarter, 22-0 after 1, and that might be all they needed.
And that's your point, Jack, to follow up what you were saying. St. Francis did a good job. When you get a big lead like that early, you always know it's going to come back. They're going to make a run at some point. And both times, there were 2 really legit runs Canisius made. I thought St. Francis held them off.
A minute 20 to go in the game. A flag at the snap. 1:22 to go in the fourth quarter. Jim, Trent Buttles, Tyrone Clark Jr.
Whoa.
Really?
Whoa.
How do you pick between the two of them if you had to pick an MVP?
I'm getting some Lamar, Derrick Henry vibes right now with this backfield. I'm not going to lie. Impressive.
Healthy Lamar.
That's all I talk about. Only healthy.
And healthy Derrick Henry for that matter.
Healthy. But yeah, they're both. I mean, that's that style. This is the combo that they give you. I mean, they're going to have to find something outside.
Well, Dominic Cook Jr. can be used as a receiving threat as well when healthy.
Fair.
And they've got Hopwood and Anderson that have had big games.
Capable.
Yeah.
Maybe not needed tonight, right.
The run on the play for Clark. Got to the outside. A lot of talking after the play. Canisius St. Francis. Yeah, this is getting chippy now. And a punch thrown after the play on the near sideline. And now the coaches hold back the players. And a helmet comes off for a St. Francis Red Raider trying to break free from his coach. He is upset. A lot of extra talking on the sideline, and it took 4 St. Francis Red Raiders to hold back their player. You wonder what was said or what was done after the play. But on the near side, it's the cornerback, Caden Wright, the junior who is being restrained by his coach. He was mightily upset. Caden Wright gets a round of applause from the St. Francis fans.
I initially thought there was a helmet-to-helmet is what I thought, Jack, that caused the flag. I couldn't really see with the mess.
Well, the helmet of Caden Wright has been retrieved, so that's a positive. For Caden Wright, he was dynamic, shutting down the top receivers for Canisius all night. Again, you just wonder what was said to lead to that kind of emotion from Caden Wright. I don't think that's out of nothing.
No, and Wright's we saw him all night being a physical player, making plays. So it's the end of the game. Just for St. Francis, it's so hard to see something like that. Both teams, really. You don't want to see anything like that. But you've done the hard part. You're here now. Finish it strong. Let's get to the next one. You don't want that to happen.
Playoffs are the next one for St. Francis. They'll be the 1 seed with a win tonight and clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs if they want it. You're listening to BTPM NPR, WBFO, WBFO HD1 Buffalo, WUBJ Jamestown, and WOLN Olean, a service of Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Up north in Toronto, the Blue Jays playing Game 7 in the World Series. They were up 3-0 through 3 innings. Now the Dodgers are climbing back. 3-2, top of the 6th. 2 outs, 2 runners on for the Dodgers, who are mounting a comeback after Shohei Ohtani gave up 1 swing of the bat to Bo Bichette to put the Blue Jays up 3-0. A sacrifice fly again in the top of the 6th for the Dodgers, who are getting them on, getting them over. The Dodgers 7 hits, the Blue Jays 8 hits so far tonight. What a great Game 7. I can't wait to turn that on the radio when I drive home from this game tonight, Jim.
Game sevens are special.
Do you listen to baseball on the radio?
I grew up listening to everything. I love baseball listening. I like listening to things more than watching growing up. Maryland basketball, Johnny Holiday, play-by-play, was outstanding. But, yes, I would listen to the Yankees, too, because I like Ricky Henderson.
Of course. And who was the Yankee play-by-play guy that you would listen to?
So it was, yeah. I can't remember I'm trying to remember the station. I was going to see if I could remember the station, and then I was going to try to recall it.
So here we've got the penalties being relayed. A couple personal fouls against Canisius. A hit to the head against St. Francis. So 2 penalties offset, but 1 extra call, it seems to be against Canisius. That will move St. Francis closer to the end zone to our left. 1:12 to go in this game again. It's all but inevitable, just a matter of time before this clock winds down to zeros and St. Francis takes a 22-14 win. Next week for Section 6 playoff football, we will be at All High Stadium next Friday night at 7 o'clock. Our pregame show begins when the Bennett Tigers host the Lancaster Legends for a Class AA semifinal clash. The defending champions Lancaster look to avenge a Week 7 loss at Bennett. Next week, Friday night at 7 p.m. on BTPM Create on TV, here on YouTube, and on BTPM NPR as well. 2nd down and 1 for St. Francis. Handoff near side. Dive to the end zone. Down at the 1. Oh, the run for Clark. Almost. The punch to the gut for Canisius. Down at the 1. 57 seconds to go in the 4th. 22-14 the lead for St. Francis.
So, Jack, can they run the clock out?
They could take a knee.
Uh-huh. Will they?
After what just transpired, I don't think so.
High school
Buttles.
rivalry football.
Handoff, end zone, touchdown. St. Francis adds another. Tyrone Clark, the hat trick in the final minute of the 4th. His 3rd touchdown of the night. The Lackawanna transfer has made a name for himself in the game of the year. Tyrone Clark Jr., 3 touchdowns to all but secure St. Francis, the number 1 seed. 28-14, 50 seconds to play, awaiting the extra point. Jacob Janis lines it up in the end zone to our left, facing the Gasich Family Athletic Center. Kick is low, but it sneaks through. 29-14, St. Francis the lead with 50 seconds to play. No comebacks tonight for the Canisius Crusaders. The St. Francis Red Raiders will hang on after 3 first-quarter touchdowns. The student section allowed down onto the track, and they run by the field. And they're celebrating right in front of the Canisius fans in the stands to our left. St. Francis went blackout tonight. They're waving bye-bye to the Canisius fans. But for the Crusader faithful, the Blue Crew, as they say, Jim, I would expect the response to be, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
That's why you have to be careful about everything you say at the end of a game, everything you're doing. It's just, you know it's going to come back. Feels good right now, but you got to do this again in 2 weeks.
This feels like bad karma to me, Jim.
Oh, I think they're going to have to make sure. I think they're going to see a lot of Kimball in their future.
You know, Canisius is going to have a different game plan coming into that game if they do beat either Timon or St. Joe's in the semifinal.
True.
It's a big if.
Right. I don't like giving wins away. So yes, I agree. Got to do it first.
29-14 the lead. The score brought to you by Mr. Goodbar. We're set for the Denny's kickoff, right to left. The kick off the hands of Harrison. Canisius falls on it at the 40. Another onside kick attempt for St. Francis. High school rivalry, 50 seconds left. This is what you're talking about, Jim. No love between these two.
I was thinking the game was going to be over 22-14, take a couple knees. Not only do that, we score and go for get an onside kick, get more.
So St. Francis, that closing drive, 80 yards, and it took just under 6 minutes of time to do. That is a shut-you-down drive for St. Francis's offense. 45 seconds to go in the game. Canisius 1st and 10 at their own 39. Down 29-14. Brousseau in the gun on the near hash. Quick pass to the far side, and it's incomplete at the feet of Harrison. 41 seconds to go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to try to throw the ball, put something together, I mean, you could just run the ball, do the right thing. No, you have players, you have health, you have people that you really need to be smart. I mean, this isn't a playoff game.
Yeah.
I mean, you want everybody healthy. There's really no reason. Just run. You could take a knee if you wanted. I mean, there's no reason to do anything.
Hernandez, the running back, 41 seconds to go. Brousseau in the gun, 2nd and 10 at the 39, near hash. Takes a snap belt high, handoff Hernandez up the middle, spins away, gets wrapped up at the ankles, gets about 8 yards to the 47-yard line. Clock will tick down, under 30 seconds to go in the game. Stick around for the post-game show brought to you by Villa Maria College. We'll recap all the scoring, whatever you may have missed, and preview our match next week on Friday Night Lights. Hernandez, the run on 3rd and 1, gets to the far edge. He turns upfield, out of bounds at the 38-yard line for Canisius. 13 seconds left, clock stops. Canisius has a timeout left. Again, Jim, I don't know why you'd use it. I don't know why you'd run another play, but Coach Kreuzer says otherwise. 13 seconds to go, 29-14, they trail.
Your team, your call. All good.
At the 38-yard line, Canisius sets up. Brousseau in the gun. Hernandez on his right hip. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Tight end in the formation as well. Brousseau to pass, 10 seconds to go. Airs it out near side, and he overthrows the intended target on the play, Jason Love, who was sprinting down the near hashes. 7 seconds to play. Jaden Clark, 3 touchdowns tonight. You're going to hear that sentence thrown around for at least the next week.
The injury to Dominic Cook, that will be moving forward, obviously, something we need to pay attention to.
It's the beauty of having them both. The conversation was, is there enough football to share between the two of them? Well, when one goes down, the other steps up. We saw it when Clark went down earlier this year. Cook stepped up. Now Cook goes down, and Clark having a huge game tonight. 3 touchdowns. 2 seconds to go after Canisius hits a 5-yard out route pass to the 33-yard line. This is all unnecessary on this drive. 2 seconds left. And Canisius has a timeout if they want to use it.
Why not?
3rd and 5 for Canisius. At the 38-yard line, 2 seconds to go. Knock on wood, this is the last play of the game. Brousseau drops back. He'll air it out. Looking in the end zone for Jack Cullinan. The Hooper can't bring it down. It's picked off again. The game ends the way the first half ends. An interception thrown by Brousseau. Kenny Litzinger gets the interception to end the ball game. 29-14. St. Francis the victory over Canisius in the final week of the regular season. St. Francis goes 8-1 in 2025 and clinches the #1 seed in the Monsignor Martin playoffs. Craig Kreuzer leads the handshake line for Canisius in long conversation with Jerry Smith right at midfield. Now they go their separate ways. You wonder what that quick word was like between those two head coaches who would like to see each other again perhaps in 2 weeks' time.
You tell me, is there a relationship there? I mean, I brought that up at the end of the game. I mean,
not anything more than fellow coaches.
Yeah, so he may have. I don't think there was anything. Scoring error was fine. I don't think that was rubbed it in. Yeah, you could have needed out. I mean, but it's still a 1-score game, so it's always kind of justified that you wanted to win by 2 scores.
29-14, the final. St. Francis defeats Canisius to claim the #1 seed in the Monsignor Martin playoff bracket. Canisius will be the 2 seed. We will return after a quick word from our supporters. This is Friday Night Lights Saturday Special on Buffalo Toronto Public Media, presented by Villa Maria College.
The energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
BTPM's Friday Night Lights, in partnership with Section 6, is presented by Villa Maria College, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York. Friday Night Lights is supported by our members and by the WNED Foundation Incorporated. Mr. Goodbar, your headquarters for watching away games on Elmwood Avenue. Denny's, America's Diner is always open. Brighton Liquor and Wine, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda. And by SEI. SEI proudly supports the WNED Foundation.
I want to talk to you about the monstrous mythological salamander from antiquity. What does that have to do with civics? Bear with me. Hey people, Corey here with Compact Civics. In 1812, Massachusetts Governor Elbridge Gerry and his party, the Democratic Republicans, hated the other party, the Federalists. Back then, voting districts were determined by the boundaries of a county. Jerry and his buddies took advantage of a loophole that gave them the power to draw up new district lines in favor of their party. The Federalists mocked the most egregious district by illustrating it as a monstrous salamander and tossed Jerry's name on it, and thus gerrymandering was born. This practice became wildly popular throughout history. It undermines voter power and impedes democracy by cherry-picking voters for a desired outcome. Thankfully, it was challenged in 2023 in New York State, and lines had to be redrawn. Next time, we'll talk about how gerrymandering makes representation unfair and directly impacts you.
Support for Buffalo Toronto Public Media's Friday Night Lights comes from our members and from your local Denny's. America's Diner is always open. Denny's salutes Section 6 student athletes, serving you with 18 locations throughout the region.
Back from St. Francis High School in Athol Springs, New York, Jack Kreuzer, Jim Monos with you for BTPM's Friday Night Lights Saturday special in the books. St. Francis defeats Canisius 29-14 in Athol Springs and claims the 1 seed for the Monsignor Martin playoffs. Welcome into the Villa Maria College postgame show, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York. Tyrone Clark Jr., our player of the game tonight, 3 touchdowns for St. Francis. With his injuries earlier this year, there was question how soon would he get back to form. I think we are able to say now officially, entering playoffs, Tyrone Clark Jr. is back.
Because we saw the ability with his size and strength just to gain the tough yards, then we saw the big run, to know he's all the way back. And then we saw the ability to take all the carries for the entire game with Cook being out. Clark proved to me I can't get Derrick Henry and Lamar out of this backfield right now. Just this combo is dangerous, these two.
And that's high praise for Trent Buttles, who impressed as well tonight.
Because of his athleticism and ability to run inside traffic and take the ball, take a run at the distance, and make every throw you need to.
It was really impressive for Trent Buttles to start the game with a 75-yard touchdown run. Just 5 minutes into the game, making it 8-0 St. Francis after the 2-point conversion. That was really the hammer thrown down onto the anvil, if you will, for St. Francis, saying, we're not the team we were last year. We're not the team we were the 6 years before when we beat Canisius. This is a new wave of St. Francis football, and they look like they're here to stay.
No question. They are loaded, and we just talked about built for the future. That's how you sustain success. Whenever you try to build a program, you're always trying to make sure it's not a one-year wonder. They are completely stacked for this year and a fun year next year.
So I wonder, with Tyrone Clark's performance tonight, we've seen some pretty good running backs in Western New York this season, Jim. Where does he rank amongst the Braden Fullers, Amir Caesars, who we saw last night, of the world? We've seen some great backs.
No, we have. He's right in the mix, especially because of his size and the ability to take it 75 yards or 65 yards, the distance. His combo is good. He's in the mix with all the running backs we've seen, I believe.
It's exciting stuff. Glad we could be a part of it, and glad you made us a part of your Saturday night. The Blue Jays have scored again. We'll give you an update when we return on Friday Night Lights postgame show, brought to you by Villa Maria College. Villa Maria College isn't about having it all figured out. It's about inventing who you're going to become at Villa Maria College. Back in the postgame show after this.
Visit Villa Maria College and discover what it means to be a Viking. Come see the energy, teamwork, and pride that makes the Villa Vikings unstoppable. Schedule your tour at visit.villa.edu.
Listen to Buffalo Toronto Public Media The Bridge wherever you are. Search for the BTPM Listen app on all your devices.
The learning and engagement projects from Buffalo Toronto Public Media impact our community by entertaining and informing.
Families are engaged, adults, grandparents.
They reach students and children.
There's something there for everybody.
They provide educators with material that is up to date, that is informative, and that really ignites curiosity in our students that is so crucial to creating lifelong learners.
Or if it's just a really well done piece of content.
Exactly. They're exciting, they're engaging, and they are so educational. Wow! But the thing that is so great is their accessibility. You can have a phone, a desktop computer,
or you find it on your tablet, or you find it in television.
And there they are.
Helping families to do what they want to do for their children and for their future here in Western New York. It makes our community a better and stronger place because of it.
Listen to BTPM Classical wherever you are on the BTPM Listen app. Find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
A well-crafted will or estate plan speaks volumes about your hopes and dreams for the future. It also ensures that what you've worked a lifetime for is distributed according to your wishes. As Buffalo Toronto Public Media looks to our future, we would be honored to share your legacy and ensure that quality public broadcasting is here for future generations. Please contact me, Lisa Latrovato, at 716-845-7031 for more information.
Listen to BTPM NPR wherever you are on the BTPM Listen app. Find it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Brighton Wine and Liquor, located at 930 Brighton Avenue in Tonawanda, features wines from all over the world and expert curators who can help you select the right wine or spirit for your occasion. Brighton Wine and Liquor, 930 Brighton Road in Tonawanda.
Welcome back to the Villa Maria College postgame show. Villa Maria College, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York. Final score from Athol Springs, 29-14. St. Francis defeats Canisius in the game of the year of the regular season in the Monsignor Martin Athletic Association. Jack Kreuzer and Jim Monos with you for the post-game show. Final segment, Trent Buttles, Tyrone Clark Jr., the only scoring members of the St. Francis Red Raiders tonight. They dominate Canisius from the first quarter to the end. Elijah Kimball tried his best to will the Crusaders back into this one in the second half. He did have one rushing score. Amir Hernandez had another in the fourth quarter, but that was not enough. Clark had one more on the final drive of the game for St. Francis to make it 29-14, and that is the final. Well, Jim, next week we've got Lancaster Bennett Friday night at All-High Stadium at 7 o'clock. Winner advances to Highmark Stadium to play in the sectional championship, the final sectional championship game in Highmark Stadium history. What are you looking forward to most from this game next week?
Well, because we haven't really seen Bennett in person, so I'm looking forward to seeing how I've seen them on my own, but we haven't called their game. And Lancaster, do they have enough right now? Because I felt like they got through the game the other night, but there were some injuries, there were some shaky things that we thought, are they healthy? Are they ready to roll this next game and get their best effort?
Jack Eskridge and Jimmy Valentine will take on Danny Ahern and Matt King in the Lancaster Legends next Friday night at 7 o'clock, live for the pregame show from All High Stadium. Hope you can join us then. For Jim Monos and our engineer on site tonight, Jerry Urban, this is Jack Kreuzer saying thanks for joining us for Friday Night Lights Saturday Special presented by Villa Maria College. We'll be back next Friday with Section 6 Class AA semifinal action. Thanks for making us a part of your weekend. Have a great weekend. Till next time, this is Jack Kreuzer saying I bid you adieu.